Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. It can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Temperatures on the way down this afternoon. Nothing extreme, but we're in the 40s, and with a gusty wind, it's a little bit chilly. Plenty of sunshine, though. Tonight, clear skies, fading winds, but very cold. 22 for the overnight low. Friday, sunny and cold. Relatively light winds on Friday, 42. The weekend, Saturday, partly sunny, 52. Sunday, clouds, some rain showers, and 58. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Have you been lied to by Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine? Hi, this is best-selling author Don Chamberlain from right here in Greater St. Louis, and I want to give you a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth, because according to Time magazine, Wall Street's retirement plans in 401ks and IRAs have failed millions of Americans. After seeing the last market crash over 39%, I had enough. There may be a way to grow your money when the market goes up, potentially double digits in good years, reduce taxes, and have my principal protected if the market declines again. Call Chamberlain Group now to get my free book and talk to me personally to discover the strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose principal if the market declines again. Call 1-800-807-3838 to discover this asset, and I'll even cover shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call 1-800-807-3838. That's 1-800-807-3838. Again, 1-800-807-3838.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint. Don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Kelly Clarkson, and as the daughter of a school teacher, I know just how important education is. No matter how old you are or your situation, continuing to learn will enrich your life and help remove barriers you didn't even know were there. So much opportunity, y'all. Whether it's a foreign language, history, or a different way to look at things, take some time each day to learn something new. This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Right now, during Staples Sit-a-thon, select chairs are up to 50% off, like the Union and Scale Essentials Mesh Back Task Chair. Now just $89.99 at Staples. In-store only offer ends 2/18 while supplies last. Staples, the working and learning and saving store.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Thursday, folks here in St. Louis. We appreciate you being here with us and everybody listening in the surrounding area as well as online, on the Odyssey app, everywhere that you can take in the Annie Frey Show. Very interesting day here in St. Louis, and the timing is important. I'm going to read to you an article here real quick from the National Review. So there's a lot of local coverage on this story that I'm about to dive into, that we had a very lengthy, involved conversation with Will Scharf, who is a former federal prosecutor of this district here in St. Louis, the Eastern District. He was in with us yesterday from 12:25 through the rest of the noon hour. You can check that on the Annie Frey Show podcast. But we were going all in on the idea of this, I think her name is Janae, the volleyball player who was visiting St. Louis and was struck by a vehicle driven by somebody who had broken his house arrest many times. Many times. Kim Gardner's office is a disaster, and St. Louisans have known this for a while. It's made the city much more dangerous. Well, in the last 24 hours, I'm pretty sure our interview yesterday had nothing to do with this, but I digress. You look around the city, and all of a sudden, everybody's kind of done an about face regarding this specific instance, about this specific story. People are starting to react. So from the National Review, just a few hours ago, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has issued an ultimatum to Kim Gardner, the St. Louis Circuit Attorney, quote, resign or face removal. In a statement, Bailey pointed to a horrific incident in downtown St. Louis last week in which an out-of-town teenager was run over and had to have both of her legs amputated. According to Bailey, Gardner's neglect as a city prosecutor is at fault. The driver who caused the accident was out on bond as he awaited trial for armed robbery. According to Bailey, quote, as Attorney General, I want to protect the people of St. Louis, and that includes protecting victims of crime and finding justice for them. Instead of protecting victims, Circuit Attorney Gardner is creating them. My office will do everything in its power to restore order and eliminate the chaos in St. Louis caused by Kim Gardner's neglect of her office. Now, there's supposed to be a press conference soon, and we are going to work to bring that to you with the Attorney General's office. More from this National Review article. If Gardner does not resign by exactly noon on Thursday, February 23rd, Bailey's office promised to initiate immediate removal proceedings in the form of a writ of quo warranto, I don't know how to say that, a mechanism to challenge a person's right to hold office. The move would force Gardner to prove her legal authority in court. So this story is surrounding this teenager, this volleyball player, and the idea that this person who struck her, who took away her way of life as she knew it, out breaking house arrest, breaking parole many times. While I want to use this story as an amplification of the problems that exist in St. Louis, a few things need to be understood at the same time. It's heartbreaking for me to listen to people talk about what this man has done to this young girl and what her life will be like now. I think that the best thing we can do as a city is to honor her. She's a GoFundMe out. I encourage you to seek that out and support her if you feel inclined to do so. But also to not forget all of the other families who have been affected by Kim Gardner's activist, circuit attorney, lack of prosecution that has taken place over her time in office. This case has become a higher profile case, but this isn't the first time something like this has happened. There are many people in this city. There are many people who have been to this city who don't even come from the city or live in the city who have been affected by Kim Gardner's way of doing things. Yesterday, basically right after the show, we heard that the mayor, Tashara Jones, came out and called on Kim Gardner to point her fingers pretty much squarely at herself. Asked for her to identify the problem here. And really, Tashara Jones, the mayor of St. Louis, stepped up, and I commend her for that. I mean, Brad, I literally, when Will Scharf was in here, was a former federal prosecutor for this very area. He knows things, he's seen things. And I said to him, I go, what can we do? Who can we call? And he said, you need to get a hold of the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And he explained that. And that's the right thing to do. Just because you don't feel like it's going to bear any fruit doesn't mean that you shouldn't go through the correct process. And what we end up seeing is that almost as we were having that conversation, the mayor of St. Louis came out and said, this is unacceptable, Kim Gardner. And I even said to Will Strife yesterday, completely dismissive of the St. Louis mayor. Okay, so you need to do that, but she's not going to do anything about this. Like, arrogantly dismissive the way I reacted in that moment. And I'm happy to say, boy, was I wrong about that. And I want to commend Tashara Jones for this moment in time. We've had a lot of discussion about what's going to happen next if Kim Gardner was to step down, if Kim Gardner were to be removed. Is the city going to place on Kim Gardner the multitude of sins and violence and crime and destruction that the city has been under? Is that all going to get heaped on Kim Gardner? As far as I'm concerned, if that means that you are going to identify problems and fix them, she's earned it. But you can't point fingers at Kim Gardner now, even though Kim Gardner says not to. You can't push everything in the direction of Kim Gardner and kick her out the door and expect her to take all of that blame with her and still have the same problems in the future. If you're going to put that on Kim Gardner, you have to be publicly identifying, we have a real problem here. We need to invest in our police officers. We need to invest in the idea of law and order. We need to be proud of the fact that the way St. Louis is run is not the way St. Louis is going to be in the future. And we want you to come downtown. We know that we have a little bit of work to do before you feel safe to come downtown. We've identified it. We've gotten rid of the main part of the problem, and we're going to work hard to fix the rest. Is that going to happen? I don't want to insult the mayor because yesterday I did, and she proved me wrong. But I'm looking at you, Mayor Jones. There's more work to do, a whole lot more work to do. What are your thoughts, Brad? I mean, quite a 24 hours on this specific subject.
This is going a lot faster than I thought it would be. You know, I thought maybe this, it would be kind of like batten down the hatches and we'll let this blow over and then nobody will be mad. But man, this is a tragedy. But the thing is this tragedy isn't unique. This tragedy is just one more of a whole host of stories like this where people who should have been in jail weren't in jail. And it's things like the circuit attorney's office not pursuing their job, not being prepared for court cases, not doing this, not doing that. And so the judge has to either let the case go or not. So it's not that she's prosecuting poorly. She's just not prosecuting. She's not showing up. She's not doing that. And whenever there's nobody to point the finger, because the prosecutor's office, the circuit attorney's office, their job is to be the representative of the people. When it's the people versus the circuit attorney's office is who is the people in the courtroom. When the people don't show up, there's nobody accusing said criminal of crime. Therefore, that criminal gets off. And it has real world consequences. And this young lady, she came into St. Louis for a volleyball tournament, and now her life is forever changed. Forever changed. You know, I saw a release from Kim Gardner, where saying that we pray for her during her recovery. My thoughts are she is not going to recover. She may adapt, she may overcome, she will do all these things, but she's never going to fully recover because there are two parts of her that have been taken because this office, the circuit attorney's office, has not done their job. It's not just Kim Gardner. It's the whole thing.
Fox News, big Fox News, reporting now, Republican Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey fired embattled Democrat St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner on Thursday after she refused to resign following a weekend accident involving a repeat offender who was free despite several violations of his bond term. Fox News says the AG's office is in the process of filing a petition, which is the legal mechanism under the state statute that allows the attorney general to remove a prosecutor who is neglectful in her duties. On Wednesday, Bailey gave Gardner an ultimatum: resign or be removed, after a motorist who repeatedly violated his bond conditions on earlier charges crashed and left a teenage volleyball player with major injuries that required both of her legs to be amputated. Fox News says Gardner's office is the one that should be monitoring the compliance with bond conditions and revoking them when those terms are violated. The victim, Janae Edmondson, 16, visited St. Louis with her family last Saturday for a volleyball tournament. While the family was in downtown area, 21-year-old Daniel Riley was speeding, failed to yield, caused a collision, ultimately striking and pinning Edmondson. According to Fox News and local reports, Edmondson only survived due to her father's quick thinking and military training. She remains in the hospital and in critical condition. In the days following the crash, local reports revealed Riley was out on bail, awaiting trial for a 2020 armed robbery. According to KSDK, Riley had violated the terms of his bond at least 50 times, but the circuit attorney's office did not ask for his bond to be revoked. Fox News reports on Tuesday, Gardner released a statement saying, quote, "Our hearts go out to the victim and her family for this unspeakable tragedy that will undoubtedly have a lasting impact not only on her, but her family and loved ones. It's unfortunate that there are those who choose to twist the facts to take advantage of the situation for their own selfish motives. This is not the time for finger pointing. It's time to support this family and ensure that justice is served." Well, justice has been served in St. Louis in this regard. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey firing Kim Gardner. That is official news. It has been reported, and I guess the legalese behind that will commence. When we come back in the 1225 segment here in about 6 minutes or so, we're going to talk to Hans von Spakovsky. He is a senior legal fellow, of course, at the Heritage Foundation, and we are going to discuss with him this situation in this scenario. Because while this is happening in Missouri, a great amount of commendation to Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General, filling in, making a big move after Eric Schmidt leaves the Attorney General position and goes to the United States Senate to proudly represent the state of Missouri. Now Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General, stepping in, taking up the mantle and doing something that could have a dramatic impact on the city of St. Louis. One of the biggest cities in the state of Missouri, and a necessary bit of economic success that the state needs to succeed. Kim Gardner has been fired by Attorney General Andrew Bailey. We are going to take, do you have this on? Let's go to it right now. Let's listen in to Attorney General Bailey.
Members of the executive branch of government are charged with enforcing the law as written, and a failure to do so is in fact illegal, and I would point those experts to the statutes referenced in our petition for writ of quo warranto.
Would you call this a rare move, and do you happen to know any time that this has happened in history in the state of Missouri previously, and if an AG has filed this type of motion, was it successful? Yeah, these motions have been filed in the past. They are rare, and they're necessarily rare. It is not something that we take lightly. I'm a former prosecutor. I've worked at a county prosecutor's office. I wish that we weren't at this point today. However, the rule of law and justice demand that action be taken to hold Kim Gardner accountable for her failure to discharge her ethical, moral, and legal obligations. There's cases on point on this issue, that some of which come from St. Louis County, in fact. St. Louis County Sheriff, I believe, in one of the leading cases on point on quo warranto, was removed from office under this kind of procedure. So it has happened in the past. Thankfully, it's rare.
Take us through how this would work in a courtroom. So basically, this would be a typical trial hearing of sorts?
Yeah, and a lot of that's going to be determined by the judge. So we're waiting to see which judge is assigned to the case, and then we'll be scheduled for a hearing, and we hope to get in front of the judge as soon as possible. But a lot of that will be determined by which judge is assigned and how soon they can hear the matter.
And which part of Missouri law gives you the authority to pursue this route?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are common law mechanisms, but also there are statutes, and those statutes are referenced in our petition for quo warranto.
What feedback, if any, did you get from Kim Gardner already? And can you address concerns from some of her supporters in St. Louis that some of this might have a political tinge to it?
Yeah, this is not about politics. This is about the rule of law and justice. Prosecutors are charged with holding wrongdoers accountable under the criminal code. Prosecutors who failed to do that aren't doing their job. Thankfully, this rarely happens in the history of the state of Missouri. But at the end of the day, I'm obligated under the statute to hold Kim Gardner responsible for her failure to discharge her legal, moral, and ethical duties.
Any correspondence with her office? You didn't add?
Other than what she's said publicly, no.
Under state law that they're allowed to ask the Attorney General for help in prosecuting cases. Are you aware, has Kim Gardner ever asked the Attorney General's office for help in prosecuting cases?
I am not so aware. The Attorney General's office has 22 prosecutors, more than 100 years of combined prosecutorial experience, resources ready to deploy today in the fight against violent crime across the state of Missouri. And many prosecutors do ask for our help, and we're obliged to go help them and are happy to do so.
You have been watching a live report from Jefferson City.
So we were picking up with KSDK there a little bit. Andrew Bailey, the Missouri Attorney General, has begun the process to remove Kim Gardner, the circuit attorney that is not interested in prosecuting crime here in St. Louis. We're going to pay attention to the rest of this press conference and clip any highlights to cover for you as the show goes on. This is a huge, huge deal because, listen, as cities around the country look to what Missouri is doing right now, it's a way for these blue cities that have really interjected politics in the way that they prosecute crime. We are helping form a blueprint as to how to get our cities back. And, you know, I credit Ron DeSantis for doing what he did in Florida and suspending that one prosecutor. There was legal challenges to that. There were some things that DeSantis won on, but the suspension was able to be held up. And the new Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, has fired Kim Gardner and will now go through the court process to go through and make that official. Big news in St. Louis today, and potentially a brighter tomorrow for the city as Kim Gardner is on her way out. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get legal analysis from Hans von Spakovsky on the Annie Frey Show. As soon as we return, we appreciate you being here with us and trusting us with this breaking news. We're grateful for it. We are St. Louis's home for conservative talk, and we care about this city. We care about you. We're going to keep covering this, working to make our city better, while we also work, of course, to make our culture and our country better. Back in a minute with Hans von Spakovsky.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
So being able to protect yourself, kind of apropos, I suppose, is very important. Maybe you haven't thought in the past that you are really a firearm type of person. Maybe you are absolutely a firearm type of person, and you know exactly what next purchase you want to make. I know all those people and everybody in between. STS Armory is your destination for making these purchases, for getting the education that you need. And I want to talk to you about walking in there, saying hi to Katie and Jesse. You're going to feel at home the second you go in there. If you're in Illinois, they're located on the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. Super simple to get to, right off of 270 and 111. But when you go in there, you're going to get the answers to questions that you have. And if you have a million questions, or if even so much you're new to this that you don't even know what questions to ask, they are incredibly happy to talk to you. If you are a nerd about this stuff and you want to go in, I got people in my family, maybe that I'm married into, they know who they are, who are nerds about this stuff, and they know exactly what they want. They go into STS and talk with Katie and Jesse to get what they want. They can help you at STS Armory get that purchase made with confidence. You can also sign up for concealed and carry classes in Illinois, pepper spray classes, kids and teen firearm safety and education, as well as many advanced classes. It is totally worth your time. You can call them at 618-931-GUNS. That's 618-931-GUNS.
Hi, guys. It's Mark with Pineview Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our wave technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now, and not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
According to Forbes, 96% of Americans, 96%,
lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a one-night adult education class, Retirement Planning 101, held at colleges and universities throughout Greater St. Louis. In just 3 hours, you'll benefit from decades of financial planning experience about Social Security, taxes, healthcare and Medicare, investing for income, and so much more. These classes are hosted by financial and tax architects, your retirement professors. If you've saved at least $300,000 for retirement, register now by calling 314-626-8817. You pay zero tuition if you call today. So call 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817.
If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Attention bourbon lovers, Mark Cox here. Join me Thursday, March 2nd at the Clayton Wine House for an evening of sampling and mingling. Tickets include appetizers and tastings from some of the finest vendors in the market. Visit 971talk.com/events and get your tickets now.
Used to keep it cool, used to be a fool, all about the bounce in my step. Watch it on the news, what you gonna do? I could hit refresh and forget. Used to keep it cool. Should I keep it light, stay out of the fight? No one's gonna listen to me.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We appreciate you being here. Big day in St. Louis. Why? Well, as Fox News is reporting, as well as many local media outlets, Republican Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has fired embattled Democratic St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. And this is after she refused to resign following this weekend accident of this volleyball player that has now lost their legs. This is a huge deal, a huge movement in the direction of getting St. Louis back on track, but it's not as simple as, oh, you're fired and she's gone. So let's talk to Hans von Spakovsky.
We the people of the United States
More perfect.
are a form of our perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
So Hans von Spakovsky with us, and you are a legal expert, and I'm hoping that you are kind of familiar with this story here in St. Louis. This is a pretty dramatic development here in our city in the last 24 hours, Hans. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it.
My thoughts are it's about time she was removed. Look, This is just the latest outrage coming out of her office. Remember, look, she won office in 2016 with a wave of money from George Soros and all these tech billionaires who were part of this radical pro-criminal, anti-victim prosecutors that are coming in. And look, what's happened in St. Louis since then? She stopped locking up nonviolent criminals. She dropped many drug cases. She ended cash bail. Everything she's done has been to make the city more dangerous, despite the fact that, for example, the murder rate's been going up, and no wonder. Because look, it's not just that she's got the wrong views about being a prosecutor, but she has shown that she's unethical and incompetent. Her office, before she got in, used to win 3 out of every 4 prosecutions. That's what the data shows. They now lose half of their cases, and she's had 100% turnover in that office because things there are so bad. And think about all the ethical problems she has had. I mean, she barely avoided losing her license over her investigations of the former governor. You know, she hired an outside investigator for that case who was later convicted for perjury. Yeah. And it's pretty clear she was suborning his perjury. In other words, she knew the investigator was lying, yet she said not a word about it. I mean, I could go on and on and on about how bad a prosecutor she is, but I think people living in the city who have to deal with the public safety problems from her letting criminals out, they see it and they know it.
You know, Hans, I live in Illinois in a suburban neighborhood. I cross the river every day to come to work, and I'm sitting in downtown St. Louis right now. You've been to St. Louis. St. Louis is a beautiful city. It's a magnificent city. But the people listening right now, if they are in the city, it's generally because they work there and they live in the suburbs all the way around it. It is not, you do not feel safe coming downtown St. Louis. They've devalued law enforcement. And, you know, when you think about being a law enforcement officer, putting your life on the line to try to get criminals off the street, knowing that you're going to hand them over to someone who's going to put them right back on the street, the whole system becomes atrophied and criminals run rampant. If you get if you get a circuit attorney in there that wants to clean up the city, does that create a pretty dramatic difference in the way the city gets to thrive quickly, or is this going to be a long haul?
Well, it will be a long haul, but it will make a dramatic difference immediately to get people back into that office who actually are willing to prosecute criminals, to make sure they don't get out of jail, to get rid of. Remember, she came up with an exclusion list. With where she put the names of police officers on it she didn't like, and said that none of those police officers could bring any cases to her office. So she was handicapping the police. And look, she is so out of it. But do you recall she actually filed a lawsuit against the city of St. Louis, against the local police and others, claiming that they were violating the Ku Klux Klan Act because they were engaging in a racially motivated conspiracy against her. That case was dismissed by an Obama-appointed federal judge who said that her lawsuit was nothing more than a listing of personal slights, none of which were a legal action. That's how bad a prosecutor she is. And the city will be safer with her gone because, look, all her policies give a message to criminals in the city saying, listen, you can pretty much do whatever you want in this town. Even if we arrest you, we're going to let you out right away. And will we prosecute you? Well, maybe. But even if we do, we'll probably lose the case.
Yeah. Hans von Spakovsky with us right now. We had Will Scharf in studio yesterday, and he's a former federal prosecutor of the Eastern District here, which includes St. Louis. He said yesterday, if you commit murder in St. Louis, there's like a 1 in 4 chance that you're going to go to jail for it. Because as you listed, all those crimes that don't end up, getting to a timely trial or getting prosecuted, this is even for the people who end up getting caught, because crime is so rampant in this city that it's hard to even staff the law enforcement departments that need to be involved. And then you put the detectives involved and you get the lawyers involved. And then on the very tip top of it, the person who's making the decisions to prosecute these crimes is disinterested in doing so. It's a toxic situation. So we hear Andrew Bailey, the Missouri Attorney General, has fired, that's the headline, fired Kim Gardner. Does the Attorney General of Missouri get to just say, oh, you're fired, you're done, and Kim Gardner's packing her bags in her box and walking out the door today? Or is this a longer process?
Well, she will probably, he, I believe, has the same authority to do that in the way that you may recall that Governor DeSantis recently got rid of a county local DA who had publicly announced that he wasn't going to prosecute certain statutes in the state. That DA sued the governor and lost. And I suspect that that's exactly what's going to happen here. But ultimately, I think the Attorney General will win, and so will the people of the city, because she's not a very good lawyer. I mean, let's just face it. She's not a very good lawyer. She has shown her incompetence on numerous occasions, including, by the way, you were just talking about murder cases.
Yeah.
My colleagues here at the Heritage Foundation are coming out with a new book on rogue prosecutors, and one of the cases out of St. Louis was a guy arrested and charged with murder who Kim Gardner's office assigned it to a lawyer who wasn't in the office because she was out on maternity leave. And when no one kept showing up in court, the judge actually called her office, contacted her saying, look, you got to send somebody here on this. Apparently the public defender in the case even contacted her office. She still didn't show up, didn't send anybody, and the murder charges were dismissed.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
If you're familiar with the story of this volleyball player who was visiting St. Louis, this is so incredibly tragic. It's shameful for the city to be having these types of events and have people, I've got 4 kids. We travel for tournaments. I was just in Peoria this past weekend. You get excited about it. You're like, oh yeah, that weekend, that's when we go to Peoria. This family was saying that weekend, that's when we go to St. Louis. She's going to come home without her legs. There are charges that were dropped, I believe, for the person who struck her with this vehicle because the victim died. So it's like the charges don't even, it's innovatively stupid and awful. And I'm so glad to see the city of St. Louis or that the Attorney General is going to do something about this. Before we let you go, Hans, is the trial process where the Attorney General is going to have to make his case, is this like a 2-year-long situation? Weeks, months? What do you anticipate?
No, I don't think so. I think if a lawsuit ends up getting filed by her, I think this will go very quickly. I think any judge assigned to this is going to know that this has to be settled very quickly to ensure that there is someone in that office, that prosecutor's office, who is actually doing what they should be doing, which is making sure that criminals arrested by the police are prosecuted, taken off the streets, and the residents of the city, no matter who they are protected.
Well, Hans, we appreciate you talking about this very local issue that I think is going to be certainly a national news story, because there are other cities around this country that are dealing with these same problems that need to be rectified. And I'm very happy to see that St. Louis is one of the leading cities in doing something about it. We appreciate you, Hans. Thanks for being here.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former FEC commissioner and a Department of Justice lawyer, Hans von Spakovsky. They are reacting to the news that Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, has fired Kim Gardner. If a lawsuit commences, that will go to trial, as Hans said, and it will be finalized one way or the other. Before we go to a break, we have Brad, who have we all contacted to comment on this, invite to the show?
Well, I've just sent an email out. I literally just hit send on an email to Rep. Corey Bush.
Yes.
So I haven't heard anything back from them. I emailed the mayor's office
earlier.
Yeah, and I got an immediate response, which is just kind of a general form
like
letter.
An auto reply?
Yeah.
What did it say?
It's just saying that thanks for your message. We're working to answer questions and make sure you're around to correct. Make sure you are routed to the correct department to meet your needs. And then they send me some other contact numbers and stuff. So
okay. Well, we would love to speak with Mayor Jones on this show. We would love to speak with Congresswoman Corey Bush and get their reactions to this news that Kim Gardner has been relieved of her duties by the Attorney General. I welcome them. If you are interested in hearing them, maybe contact them and tell them to come on the Annie Frey Show. Do it kindly and respectfully, because we can have a kind and respectful conversation here, even if we disagree. But if the people of St. Louis want to be spoken to, we've got a platform here. We will certainly offer it up to those individuals. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America here in studio. Don't go away. Talk about the YouTube live chat poll when we return as well.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
If you are looking to sell your home on the Illinois side of the river, you need none other than Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. I love Jen. She is a wonderful person, and I've talked to many people who have worked with Jen. They love her too. She means business, but she does it in a way that makes the process incredibly less stressful. Selling your house is not like the easiest, most relaxing thing to do, but you need somebody who is going to be able to speak the truth to you, to help you position your home in the best way to sell, who understands the market, and who is going to work their butt off to make sure that your house is sold fast for top dollar. Now, if you're not 100% sure you're ready to sell, or if you're thinking, I'm going to sell it, but we're going to sell in the summer, now is the time to contact Jen Teskey and get that process started, because she can give you a little heads up on, I would work on fixing this up, but don't spend any money on that. Don't worry about that. That's not worth your investment. She is fantastic at working with people leading up to the sale as well, and she has an incredible team working around the clock to make sure that your home selling experience and your home buying experience goes as smooth as humanly possible. It's Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. You can call her or text her at 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
At Mucinex, we don't believe in cold and flu season. We only believe in comeback season, which starts with 12-hour relief. Just one dose of Mucinex DM provides 12 hours of relief for cough and chest congestion day or night. That's 3 times longer than those 4-hour cough liquids. So say goodbye to cold and flu season and hello to comeback season with Mucinex DM. Nothing lasts longer among over-the-counter cold and cough medicine. Get relief that lasts with Mucinex DM. Use as directed.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Oh, Hank, what a wonderful spider web you have built for us. I love this fabulous space we have right here in the corner of the kitchen.
Thanks, Charlotte. I think I'll build us a vacation web in the coat closet. Maybe even one in Susie's room, too. Oh, no. It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Filtering the BS pushed by the mainstream media.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Have you ever met that funny reefer man? Have you ever met that funny reefer man? If he says he swam to China, tell you South Carolina, then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
Reefer Man by Cab Calloway. You know him, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Actually,
Yeah.
You guys went to school together, right?
I know him from Sesame Street.
I know him from. I was driving around yesterday. I mean, I don't know about this trial. Murdaugh, is that how you say it? Murdaugh?
Murdaugh?
Murdaugh? I don't know. I'm not following any of it at all.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I don't know any of it, and I don't care to know any of it. I hope if the person who committed the murder, I am like pro-death penalty in instances like that. I don't need to know the details. I can't get into these kinds of trials very often. They were covering that, I think, live, and I'm like, I can't do this. I poke around local radio, and I listened to a little bit of that, and I thought, I need a little music just to ease my mind. And it was just song after song after song. It was so funny. So I kept sending Hannah all of these songs, and that one was Reefer Man.
Oh, Reefer Man.
Reefer Man.
I thought you said Reaper Man.
No.
Like it was death coming to get you.
Ryan, you consider yourself the Reaper Man?
No, me. But I also don't consider myself the Reefer Man either. So
Well, Hannah did, obviously.
Yeah, I thought this was perfect.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
Speaking of healthy decisions.
Yeah, healthy decisions is what we got today. I just wanted to see. Now, these are supposed to be decisions that you've already made. So things you're already doing that I want to see. That's the assumption of the article. Hey, you're already doing these things. Make sure to do them more or continue to do them. But I don't know that you're actually doing them. So I'm presenting them to you and saying, are you actually doing these things?
Are you
What is the question?
Number one.
You just told us 3 things that you're not asking us and 1 that you are.
Number 1, are you drinking water? Are you drinking enough water? Based on the fact that all 3 of you always carry those huge, I was going to say huge jugs. I'm not going to say that. Those huge
2 out of 3 of
containers.
Wait.
I'm not specifying.
Wait.
No, I'm not. Are you kidding me? This is all of St. Louis.
Come on, guys.
All of St. Louis is like, oh, God, oh no, on my computer. I just
Oh, no, that actually happened, didn't it?
Yeah,
that was not.
All of St. Louis is tuning in to 97.1 to find out what happened to Kim Gardner, and they just heard that.
Yeah, well.
Huge jugs on
yeah, so 2 out of 3 of us carry around these huge jugs. And, I mean, never mind.
Ryan, you're a little flustered, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, because I got so many jokes. I got jokes, you guys.
Are they funny?
No. They're terrible.
Are they FCC compliant?
Are they
healthy
HR
habits? Yes, we're drinking our water.
Until
some of us are spilling it.
2 to 3 years ago, I never, ever drank water. I would always drink soda or milk, something else.
There are a lot of people that don't like water.
You get used to not drinking water, and then the taste of water is just nothing, and so it tastes terrible.
I am incredibly picky about the water too, because like even the water thing out there, the water that comes out of the same machine that the ice comes out of is not as good as the water that comes out of the other machine.
Water snob.
True.
I am super.
I agree. No, I am too now.
Like if you give me the option of spring water or smart water, I'm buying smart water every time.
What's the difference?
One's purified, one's spring water.
Dasani water,
better
blah.
flavor.
Not the same as other water.
No.
How much?
There goes my Dasani sponsorship.
You drink the most out of any of us because you got that huge jug.
I
Just
usually
one.
have
Just
it.
one. You got that one. You got
People
that one
always comment
big
about
one.
that on the live
People
stream.
always comment about your one huge jug.
In the break room.
I can see why.
In the break room. Yep.
But you have the biggest one.
Keep going, Ryan.
How much?
I can't. The greatest thing here is that Ryan literally doesn't know what to do right now.
You're supposed to drink.
We're talking about water bottles, Ryan.
Yes.
You're supposed to drink however many ounces
what
your
we're
body
witnessing
weight.
here is Ryan's comedy brain fighting with his professional brain,
Yes.
and it's glorious.
It's tough. Well, this says 11.5
I disagree.
cups
I
for
think
women.
it's him fighting with his inner 12-year-old self.
There's a little
His
bit of that.
outer self is
Yeah.
Which has less to do with brains.
No, everywhere I'm going right now in my head.
We don't
want to
know. We don't want to know.
That. No, I can't do that. No, I can't do
Stop.
that. I could do that personally.
Isn't
but not
this
on
a
public.
list of 8? We've gotten to 1.
Yeah, there's
the show's
4.
almost over.
The second one is passive exercise. So this is just things that you're doing. You're walking around. Do any of you wear a Fitbit or anything like that? No.
I used to wear an Apple Watch all
do?
the time, but I stopped.
I wear a watch.
Do you count your steps and stuff like that?
Try to get 7,000 a day.
So you're attempting to just walk more than you would naturally. That's what it's saying.
I try to hit 7,000 a day.
Yeah.
That makes me feel as though I'm not sedentary.
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean active.
I got the new app, but it doesn't count my steps. It always tells me, oh, you only need 3,000 more steps to close it. I'm like, I walk way more than that.
You got the new app? What app?
The Apple app.
Yeah, the app.
When they did the update, the big
Yeah, but
iOS
you don't always
update.
have it. Your phone's not
No.
always going to be on you.
And I let the alerts go on, and now it gives me like, hey, you didn't close it yesterday.
The rudest ones are like, hey, you might try, standing up.
Yeah.
I'm like, screw you.
When you said the app, you pointed at your brain as if you had
A chip in there.
implanted something in your brain that's tracking your steps.
I did.
Elon.
Number 3 is going outside. This was I'm terrible at this. we are all terrible at this. We're never outside.
But wait, what? Rude?
How do you know how much
You don't
I'm
get to
outside?
talk about how much we go outside.
I know what you're doing at least for a good portion of your day.
What?
You're standing here.
Literally 3 out of 24 hours.
Yeah, and the other hours around it, I see what you're doing and you're not outside.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Well,
talked about our big jugs and the fact that you follow me everywhere in one segment. It's just like
I'm so embarrassed for me.
So is everybody else, but for you.
How about this one? Getting enough sleep. You good on that?
Annie?
I try. It's easier. I sleep a lot better when I get up and work out in the morning. I go to sleep earlier at night.
Mm-hmm. Number
Big
6
on
is
sleep.
having friends.
Oh. I'm a quality, not quantity type of person.
Mm-hmm. We just had this discussion about the friends a couple weeks ago about how.
Yeah, when I told you we couldn't be.
It's yeah. I said we had a meeting.
He sent me a
go up to the private
piece of lined paper, and he's like, "Would you be my friend?" Yes or no? I'm like, I hate to say this.
Yes or no?
No.
No. Big no.
It was really nice of you to not send that piece of paper back. I got the message, but you didn't have to circle no. That would have really killed
So
me.
having friends was on your list of 8 healthy.
It doesn't say how many friends. It just says spending time with your friends. So kind of actually what you're saying, Annie.
Quality.
Spending some quality time with your friends and family supports better overall health. Companionship has been found to decrease the chances of developing health conditions like depression and high blood pressure. I actually skipped number 5 on purpose because I thought getting the friends was so funny. Cooking at home.
Yes.
How often do you cook at home?
Most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And by how I cook at home, that's Jared. He does that.
Yeah, I don't cook at home either.
I'm not big on the cooking at home.
What percentage of the time do you eat out?
Well, I meal prep all of my breakfast and lunch, so it's really dinner that's the hardest for
In
me.
your bunko boxes?
In my
bento
boxes.
That's not what they are.
Yes, I would say I go out to eat
Some
probably.
delicious bunko.
Do you go every day?
No, probably 3 times a week.
That's not much. You eat 3 meals a week, not of your own? That's not a lot.
No, that's really not that bad.
Because I definitely eat more than that out. Well, I eat breakfast from Scooters
I guess I
every
think
morning,
it's a lot because everything's so expensive.
Yeah.
Today I got Jimmy John's and it was $12 for a sandwich.
And it looked delicious.
It was really good, but not $12 good.
Ryan follows me after work. Brad sits and watches Annie eat a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Annie's-
really a pathetic.
Annie pulled right into the
existence,
garage, went right inside, and didn't come back outside for almost 4 hours.
but How much longer do I have to wait out here before she comes back out?
Yeah, this is getting boring. I need some Jimmy John's. Oh, wait. Too expensive.
So weird.
They're freaky fast when they deliver to the guy sitting in Annie's driveway.
Jared, you ordered Jimmy John's? No.
They're giving it. Is that Ryan?
Again?
He waves with a sandwich.
Lettuce falling all over my chest. Number 7,
Ew.
treating yourself. That's right.
boy.
Treating yourself is one of the healthiest daily habits you can have. I don't feel like anybody's short of this.
I don't even know what that means.
I do.
I said that last week when I got Chick-fil-A.
So
Treating
you-
yourself is not just about food. Treating
What
yourself.
else is it?
Time.
Taking a
Ooh.
nap.
Getting a
Mhm.
pedicure.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen.
Treats can also
Ryan knows
look
about
like
that.
investing in yourself.
Yeah, see?
Mindfulness and meditation are great ways to invest in your health. I don't think anybody's really doing that.
No,
though.
that's not true because mindfulness and meditation is the same thing as quiet time. And what people do with their quiet time might be mindfulness and meditation. It might be prayer. It might be devotion. It might be you locked in your bedroom hiding from your family.
Mhm. Or the people in your driveway.
Yeah.
Number 8, last one, avoiding diets you can't keep. So getting into one, usually lifestyle
For
changes
sure.
more than just, quick fad diets. That one's not really one that you're already doing. I don't know why that one made the list, but if you can, if you're already changing your healthy eating habits, stick to it, I guess is what they're saying.
All I have written down for my notes for this segment is
jugs.
Big jugs.
Well, that's the name of the hour.
And Attorney General Andrew Bailey fired Kim Gardner. Boom. We've got requests out to Mayor Jones, Congresswoman Cori Bush, and we'll see if we can get them on the show to discuss that huge news. Big news. Wait and see what happens next. When we come back, Tyrus and our friend Rachel Duffy in the 1 o'clock hour. Don't go away.
Hi, this is Terry Hall, host of the popular radio show for veterans, Vet Time in America. Sundays at 12 noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Our show is all about veterans. We talk with experts. We help you get benefits, how to get more, and what to do if you're not getting what you deserve. Tune in on Sunday at noon. Join the conversation. We take calls. Vet Time in America. Tune in this Sunday at noon on 97.1 FM Talk.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
So the Diamond Shop in Clayton has been serving the city of St. Louis and people just like you since 1910. That's quite a long time. It's a family-owned and operated business, and I'm a customer of theirs. My husband is a customer of theirs. Yippee. And I'd love for you to give them the opportunity to earn your business. Walking into the Diamond Shop, now located in Clayton, you walk in and it's just like the definition of sparkle. It is beauty all around you. And everywhere you look are different types of products, earrings and necklaces and bracelets and tie tacks or tie chains and watches and engagement rings and diamond rings and gold bands, all of it, to help you find the perfect piece for you, for your significant other, for maybe a mom in your life as Mother's Day starts to approach us. You get 6 months, same as cash. So a great opportunity for you to, whatever your budget is, go into the Diamond Shop and make a beautiful purchase to make someone's day. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And did we mention it's aluminum free? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 901 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 901. LumeDeodorant.com, code 901 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 901.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
What federal investigators say about the Ohio train wreck. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This was 100% preventable.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy says the derailment in East Palestine earlier this month happened as the crew was slowing the train to investigate an overheated wheel bearing.
We have no evidence that the crew did anything wrong. And during this deceleration, the wheel bearing failed.
Questions remain about heat sensor warnings. The NTSB plans a rare investigative field hearing this spring in East Palestine. For now, the cleanup there continues, with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg pledging continued support and suggesting he wanted to visit sooner.
I was taking pains to respect the role that I have and the role that I don't have, but that should not have stopped me from weighing in about how I felt about what was happening to this community.
He's also urging railroads not to wait for the government to improve rail safety. The former attorney accused of killing his wife and son in South Carolina takes the stand.
After weeks of testimony from law enforcement, experts, analysts, family, and friends of the Murdaughs, the jury heard directly from Alex Murdaugh himself.
Mr. Griffin, I didn't shoot my wife or my son anytime.
ever.
But then Murdaugh admitted that he had lied repeatedly. Murdaugh had told investigators after Maggie and Paul were killed that he'd been inside the house napping at the time before leaving to go visit his mother. But a video prosecutors played off Paul's phone just minutes before they calculate the murders happened reveals Alex's voice can be heard. Murdaugh said the circumstances, their murders, his addiction to opioids, all of it made him paranoid and led him to lie about his whereabouts.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Sentencing day again for singer R. Kelly, a judge in Chicago, giving him 20 years in prison for child pornography and enticement of minors, but 19 years will be served at the same time as a 30-year sentence for racketeering in New York. America is listening to Fox News.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. It can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Temperatures on the way down this afternoon. Nothing extreme, but we're in the 40s, and with a gusty wind, it's a little bit chilly. Plenty of sunshine, though. Tonight, clear skies, fading winds, but very cold. 22 for the overnight low. Friday, sunny and cold. Relatively light winds on Friday, 42. The weekend, Saturday, partly sunny, 52. Sunday, clouds, some rain showers, and 58. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You know, it's Lent, and we want you to come have a fish dinner with us on The Mark Reardon Show.
Fish Fry Fridays start March 3rd with the first one at St. Stephen Proto-Martyr Catholic Church.
Come join us.
The Mark Reardon Show, March 3rd on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's the final days of Ashley Home Store's President's Day sale. Last chance to save big. Up to 50% off. Shop deals starting at $399. Or get no interest for 5 years with no down payment. That's no interest until 2028. Don't miss huge mattress savings at Ashley Home Store. Save up to $500 on best-selling Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. In stock and ready for delivery. Text deals to 79975 to learn more. Ends Monday. Only at Ashley Home Store.
So Stewart's American Mortgage is a huge, huge asset on your team when it comes to purchasing a home, because you can find the right house, you can go through the whole process, and you see different houses, you decide this is the one. We want to make an offer on this. And you know that in this climate, there are still competitive offers being made. How do you stand above the rest? Well, you get the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage. The first thing about the bagel loan that you need to understand is that it's called the bagel loan because it looks like a zero, and you pay zero in fees that other lenders are going to charge you for. Those closing costs, not there, gone, don't exist. When you go through the process of securing yourself the bagel loan, you're going to get a pre-approved for whatever amount you need, and you are going to be able to generate pre-approval letters up to the amount that you've been approved for on your own without having to get a hold of somebody specifically who's going to have to wait on that person to get that done. It makes you a more competitive buyer. And then when you don't have to pay those closing costs, those thousands of dollars that you're saving, you can make a higher offer. You can put it in the savings account. You can use it to upgrade the home once you make the complete purchase. Stewie is there to make this process as easy and as simple and affordable as you possibly can. Plus 12 days to close. That's wild. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie today and get yourself a bagel loan. You can Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226715.
Have you been lied to by Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine? Hi, this is best-selling author Don Chamberlain from right here in Greater St. Louis, and I want to give you a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth, because according to Time magazine, Wall Street's retirement plans in 401ks and IRAs have failed millions of Americans. After seeing the last market crash over 39%, I had enough. There may be a way to grow your money when the market goes up, potentially double digits in good years, reduce taxes, and have my principal protected if the market declines again. Call Chamberlain Group now to get my free book and talk to me personally to discover the strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose principal if the market declines again. Call 1-800-807-3838 to discover this asset, and I'll even cover shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call 1-800-807-3838. That's 1-800-807-3838. Again, 1-800-807-3838.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad that you're here with us this afternoon. We appreciate it. Big news in St. Louis today. It's making the national headlines, of course. The Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, the one who has pretty recently signed in once Eric Schmidt won that Missouri Senate race. The Missouri Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, telling the circuit attorney here, the Soros-funded circuit attorney, Kim Gardner, you're either going to resign or you're going to be fired. Gave her until noon to do so. She did not resign. He fired her. Now they go through the process of going to trial and making this be a complete event. But it is a huge step in the right direction to actually valuing the prosecution of crime and hopefully getting St. Louis back into a position where people feel safe to be downtown. Big news. And we're going to continue to follow this as headlines continue to come out. I think at 2:30, Kim Gardner's office is supposed to have a press conference. So we will be on that as well. Our friend Tyrus is on the line.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Tyrus, welcome back to the show. You're about to be back in the area. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to get to my barbecue joint.
Yeah, Pappy's is ready and waiting, I'm sure. I don't know how much you know about this specific development I was just talking about there, about the circuit attorney, the Soros-funded circuit attorney in St. Louis. They don't prosecute crime here for whatever particular reason she picks and chooses. She doesn't get people into trial in a timely fashion. She doesn't show up, and the attorney general has said you're fired, essentially. But this is a story. You're in New York City all the time, and this is a story that you see in cities all across the country. I'm wondering what you think that the status quo is right now when it comes to the idea of crime, law, order, and our willingness to say even just the definitive line of where right and wrong meet.
Well, I think that was a great move. This idea that committing crimes is somehow something you're not responsible for and based off of how you look or your religion or your socioeconomic background is ridiculous. So it's a breath of fresh air. I hope other cities will take note of what's happening here. There will be due process, and, of course, she'll have her opportunity to, make the claim otherwise. But I think that's a good step. I think that's what we need to have happen. If you commit a crime, you need to be held accountable for it, and that's fair. It has nothing to do with anything else. The reasons why you committed the crime are irrelevant. It's not what you did; it's your reaction that you're judged by, and it goes for all of us across the board. So that's the American way, and I'm all for it.
Now, I want to play, I want to switch gears here real quick, and thank you for your thoughts on that, because the topic I wanted to discuss with you specifically here is about how we communicate with one another and words, and how words are now, some words are not allowed. Free speech is, you could say free speech is under attack, but there are a lot of people trying to cancel other folks because they used a word or said a word. And Jesse Waters did a story on this earlier this week on the Roald Dahl books, which my husband's in the middle of reading the BFG to my kids right now. They've read James and the Giant Peach.
Not to cut you off, but everybody thinks I look like the mean BFG.
Oh, really?
The one who eats human beings.
No.
My daughter scares her friends with, my dad looks exactly like that. And actually, it's a point of pride. I'm good with that, especially with the boys when they come over to play. So
You just
I'm
walk
fine
in the
with
room and stand there, and that's all you need to do. I appreciate that. Jesse Waters covered this particular word change from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Got to get your thoughts
And
on
now
it.
they're coming for another classic author, Roald Dahl, one of the most popular children's authors of all time, who wrote some of my childhood favorites, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach. Puffin Books, who publishes his work, is changing or removing hundreds of words and sentences to make them more sensitive to all audiences. So, what are these words that are so offensive? Well, let's start with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Mark my words. The kid who finds the first ticket will be fat, fat, fat.
The word fat is no longer acceptable. It's being taken out of the books and replaced with enormous.
So, Tyrus, how is enormous? I would rather be called fat than enormous.
Is not better. Enormous is not better. Here's the deal. I'm with Ricky Gervais on this one. How arrogant that you think that you should go through life without your feelings being hurt, especially when your feelings are wrong. Feelings are not facts. And you start changing. First of all, you're changing literature of someone who can't even defend themselves. If you don't like what's in the book, don't read it. Because here's the thing, most of them are not going to. It's not a moral victory. It's just pure. We've seen this before. We saw this with Stalin. We saw this with China. Like, this is communism and socialism, plain and simple. And it has no place in the American way. You don't change words. Enormous is not better. Like, that's like saying you're going to change dumb to stupid. It's like the same thing.
It doesn't make you feel any better.
No, it's like what's the other thing they want to do? You can't be a man anymore. You're a sperm holder. That's not better. That's not better. You know, but they don't want to.
That's
be
so
better.
mechanical.
They just want their feelings to be facts, and they're not. And who do you think you are to where you don't get your little feelings hurt? It's grow up, you know. And you need to take a stand to it. I luckily have the old versions, and I will be reading my books, and I will say the word fat, fat, fat as many times as I want to. And at times in my life, I've resembled that remark. So, you know what? You don't like the word fat? Do something about it. But again, it just goes back to these feelings and this virtue signaling. I changed fat to enormous. I don't think anyone who's ever been called fat in their life would say, hey, check that. I'm enormous, pal. Until which the bully would start laughing and say, yes, you are.
Yeah.
So again, Forrest Gump said it best, stupid is as stupid does.
Yeah, I'm into that. Tyrus with us right now. He is a Fox News contributor, a co-host of Gutfeld, and also the Tyrus and Tim podcast that you should check out, and author of his own book, Just Tyrus, a memoir. So when we hear these things being changed and people on the left or, you know, I don't even know how, especially in this instance, it's an improvement on anything, how anyone's feelings are less hurt. But we're also hearing at the same time one of the big accusations being made towards Ron DeSantis and his efforts to change the course of that Black history in Florida and to basically take out some of the more, in his terms, woke indoctrination that's involved in those courses. People are accusing Ron DeSantis of banning books. That's what the whole story is boiled down to. Ron DeSantis wants to ban books. This actually feels a little bit closer to banning books than what he's tried to do in Florida.
Okay, what we have learned with the woke culture is they cannot argue, so they make accusations. You know, you're racist, you're banning books, or you're just trying to tell. When you try to tell it like it is and have fact-based stories that are backed up by facts and not feelings or victimization or BS statements to try to get people to buy into your stuff, of course you're going to come back and say those things. Ron DeSantis isn't doing any of that stuff. I can't stand Black History Month, not just because it's February, the shortest month, but because our histories are intertwined. Everything in this country was built by people. All of our histories are together. We're more together than any other country on the history of this planet. So you can't have one without the other. So again, it just goes back to this thing where they can't beat them in the conversation. They can't beat them in the debate. So they have to make up feelings and make up accusations that you can't possibly defend. And then when he proves that he's not banning books, then they'll go, well, he's racist. And then how do you define that? Because we now know racist means I disagree with you. It doesn't necessarily mean it's just whatever they want it to be, because facts and truths mean absolutely nothing to when you are just woke and making things up as you go. And again, it goes back to that arrogance of that your feelings, even though they're wrong, somehow are more important than anything else, and they're not. And of course, you have to blame the parents. What were you doing? What were you thinking? Teaching your kids that their feelings are more important than anybody else's. If you don't like something, don't participate. Read a different book. Don't vote for them. But if you can't have the conversation, and that's another thing, we got to stop debating these people. We got to stop sending educated people to have conversations with people who just make things up as they go. They're enormously full of it. Okay.
Yeah, some might say that. Let me ask you this question, because we've used the word woke. It's one of Ron DeSantis' favorite words. And every time I talk about this, I have people who are maybe on the left side of the aisle who are in our chat on a regular basis, and they really kind of laugh at the idea of woke. Like the comment is generally, what does woke even mean? And woke doesn't even exist. And I thought, Tyrus, to you, is the idea of being woke real? Is it actually something that is out there, or is it a boogeyman created by the right so that they have somebody to fight?
No. Okay. We have Democrats, we have liberals, and we have the woke. And if I was a liberal and I was a Democrat, I would not be one to be concerned on what is someone who is woke. They don't represent the left. They represent their own interests. They eat their own. They go after their own. Because it's not about, they're about feelings and the selfishness that is them, and they just happen to live where they're allowed to in the Democratic Party because no one will stand up to them. So again, I think it's important that when you can't have the argument, you have to take the weight off the subject. So if woke doesn't exist, we're just making it. No, it's a real thing. Ask anybody who's ever spoke their mind or been 13 and said something dumb on Twitter that don't allow redemption or hurt somebody's feelings or had an abstract thought or said something somebody doesn't like. They know exactly who the woke are. And it's true. The woke are past tense. They should have been awake. They're woke, and they don't know what's going on and what's real. They live in the first world, and they make things up as they go. So it's a real group. And I would argue that most liberals, Bill Maher, and guys like that, and Democrats like Harold and Manchin, they're not part of that. It's just like we have our weird right wingers, and we have our weird people in our party. The woke are the weirdos and the Democratic Party. It's just the woke spend all their time on social media. The rest of us, we work for our living.
Tyrus, before we let you go, Nikki Haley announced her presidential run. Don Lemon did not appreciate that she took the opportunity to suggest that maybe the current president of the United States, being 80, isn't competent and capable of continuing to do his job. And Don Lemon's response is that women are only valuable when they're of childbearing age, which is really, as somebody who's 38, how I heard it, because I thought, man, I'm really getting to the end of my prime. I thought I was just getting started. What's your reaction when you see a Don Lemon? Do you want him canceled, or how do you react to that?
No, here's the thing. I don't see what Don Lemon said was a bad comment, but I'm hearing far worse on The View. Sonny literally was talking about Nikki Haley being a chameleon, which is one of the grossest things you could say to a person of color, basically calling her an Uncle Tom. They attack her constantly. What Don Lemon said was dumb, but, I don't canceling somebody because they said something stupid. He apologized. Apparently he went to sensitivity training, which I always thought he was overly sensitive to begin with. So, what he said was stupid. But Haley, I love the fact when she said, "Hold my beer." That should be her catchphrase. I loved it.
Yes.
It's who she is. And a comment from Don Lemon or anyone on CNN or anyone on the left who cannot have the conversation with her. She was 1,000% right. Our president can't walk up a flight of stairs. He talks to dead people. So you can question his 80. Now, does that mean all 80-year-olds? No, absolutely not. But in his particular case, if you don't see a deterioration and a weirdness in what he speaks, you're just not looking for it.
Yeah.
Literally at the State of the Union, he said he would veto, and they clapped anyway because they chose not to see it. So, again, it just goes back to, in his particular case, I think Nikki Haley was right to question that because let's be frank, we're all questioning.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But again, you're going to mess with hashtag hold my beer.
Mm-hmm.
So, hold my beer. I laughed like a schoolgirl. I thought that was the coolest thing. I think that handled the business right there, because in Poor Dumb Lemon, if she said hold my beer, that means there's a butt whooping coming.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think he wants to mess with Missy Hill. So again, he doesn't need to be canceled or fired. He said something dumb. We've all been there. We've all said dumb things. I don't think that's what he was trying to say, but I'm not defending him, because he wouldn't be defending me, but I'm not about that life. So he apologized, and let's move on.
I think
again, not the worst thing said. Watch The View. The things that Sonny said, things that Joy Behar say constantly about people on the right is just more disgusting, and never once are they ever. The only ones who's ever made to apologize is Whoopi Goldberg.
That's so accurate. We appreciate you, Tyrus. We're going to see you tomorrow at the Wild E Theater in Edwardsville. Looking forward to you coming back to the area, and hope you have safe travels.
I'm starving myself because I cannot wait to get to my barbecue place.
Pappy's is ready. Tyrus, we'll see you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Co-host of the Tyrus and Tim podcast. He's on Gutfeld, of course, Fox News contributor. I think he hosted Gutfeld last night. I think he did. I saw that tweet, and I was going to watch it, and then sick kids and stuff. So hopefully, if you're going to be at the Tyrus event tomorrow night, I think I'm going to welcome you on the stage before he takes the stage, but should be another wonderful evening with Tyrus in Edwardsville at the beautiful Wild E Theater. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I cannot wait to talk to Rachel Campos Duffy. It's been a while. I love her. She is such a spitfire. She is a mom of, I think, nine, lots. And we're going to continue a little bit of that conversation we had yesterday. When is it appropriate for a child to have a phone? What are we supposed to do as moms and dads when it comes to social media and our kids? How do we handle this when we didn't grow up with what our kids are experiencing right now? Rachel Campos Duffy, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends and a Fox News contributor, when we come back. Don't go away.
Wonder where the same time goes. And money too. Trying to fix the same broke hearts. Wishing on the same stars.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
We all been kicked.
Shopping for groceries is kind of a daunting task these days. Everything costs more. Ruler Foods is where you bring those prices back down. You don't have to clip coupons. You don't have to go through the whole rigmarole of trying to pair things up, make sure you got the right size and the right brand and all of that. Working your budget into a Ruler Foods shopping trip, it will take you one time of going through the store and getting those staples that you normally would buy anywhere else. Maybe you have, this store you go to for produce, this store you go to for meat, this store you go to for other basic goods. Go to Ruler Foods first. Walk through the aisles, see how nicely everything is presented, how easy it is to shop there, and how much money you can save. It's pretty much jaw-dropping. Some of the prices on some of the products that you can shop for at Ruler Foods, you will be texting people about, oh my gosh, I can't believe the price on this is so cheap. Go to rulerfoods.com and find the one that's closest to you. I don't care how much money you make now or how much you're trying to pinch pennies. Everybody loves to save money on groceries, and it starts at Ruler Foods. You can go through the process of shopping and getting all of your produce needs, your name brand products, as well as those Kroger brand foods at Ruler Foods prices at your local Ruler. Now, if you go to the website, you can type in your zip code and you can find the one that's closest to your home, closest to your church, closest to your place of work, and make that shopping trip soon. Let me know how it goes, too. Message me on the Annie Frey Show Facebook page, rulerfoods.com.
According to Forbes, 96% of Americans, 96%, lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a one-night adult education class, Retirement Planning 101, held at colleges and universities throughout Greater St. Louis. In just 3 hours, you'll benefit from decades of financial planning experience about Social Security, taxes, healthcare and Medicare, investing for income, and so much more. These classes are hosted by financial and tax architects, your retirement professors. If you've saved at least $300,000 for retirement, register now by calling 314-626-8817. You pay zero tuition if you call today. So call 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817. 8817.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Has the stock market slumps and instability this year got you concerned? Would you like a way that could protect your retirement when the markets are down? Gold Alliance would like to give you 2 free reports, the Inflation Survival Plan and the Stock Market Correction Plan. Both reveal how to protect your savings in uncertain times. It's absolutely free. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079.
3 people you should be 100% certain about. Your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
There's a brand new report out about hiring practices at my alma mater, Mizzou, and John Seiler is going to bust that open for us Thursday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
What is the right age for a child to start using social media? I worry that right now, if you look at the guidelines from the platforms, that age 13 is when kids are technically allowed to use social media. But there are 2 concerns I have about that. One is, I personally, based on the data I've seen, believe that 13 is too early. And I think that it's a time, early adolescence, where kids are developing their identity, their sense of self. It's a time where it's really important for us to be thoughtful about what's going into how they think about their own self-worth and their relationships. And the skewed and often distorted environment of social media often does a disservice to many of those children. But the other concern I have is that these rules around age are inconsistently implemented. We have some of the best designers and product developers in the world who have designed these products to make sure people are maximizing the amount of time they spend on these platforms. And if we tell a child, use a force of your willpower to control how much time you're spending, you're pitting a child against the world's greatest product designers, and that's just not a fair fight.
So that's the United States Surgeon General, Dr. Murthy, talking about how children and social media and the way social media is designed, children may not be equipped to do that. And I obviously have talked to you a lot about that on this show. I have 4 kids, my oldest being 13, youngest being 20 months, and I'm struggling with this. When do kids get a mobile phone? What kind of access to social media should they have? Watching the world try to acquire my children around every corner makes me very apprehensive to it. So I would love to talk to one of my favorite moms out there, Rachel Duffy. She joins us now, the co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends, as well as a Fox News contributor. Rachel, welcome back to the show. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Annie. So happy to be here. I love any show that brings me into Tom Petty.
There you go. That was just for you, Rachel. You've got 9 kids, and what are the ages?
Yeah.
Like, how old is your oldest? I know you have quite a few.
Yep. So the oldest is 23, and the youngest is 3. And this topic is so interesting to me because one of the blessings of having 9 is that you get do-overs. So Sean and I sort of reassessed, and we believe we gave the first 3 I should say the first 4, the phone too early. The first ones we definitely gave them too early, I think in 8th or 9th grade. Then basically number 5 came along, and she is now 14 going on 15, and she does not have a phone.
Yeah.
We've never given her a phone. She keeps begging for a phone. She keeps telling us we're mean because we don't give her a phone and that everybody else in the world has a phone except for her. But she does not have a phone. Yeah. And that's the decision we made. And it's the decision we learned through trial and error. And I think everything you heard the Surgeon General say right there is spot on. These kids they're not equipped to have the kind of self-control to be up against these product developers who have developed the phone in order for maximum usage and addiction. And we're living in a world where it's really obvious to me that kids are addicted. But the worst part is they're also really sad. We're seeing mental health crises at a level we've never seen before. So clearly, I've actually seen, Annie, they've put up the polling or the data points that show, when phones were introduced, almost match with the spike up in mental health crisis issues for young people. So it is absolutely linked. Anyone who tells you it's not is crazy. And it's also doing something else, which is, I think it's pulling kids. We've always had teenagers have their own culture, right? They have their own subculture, and that's a wonderful thing. It's actually a pretty modern thing. It used to be you lived on a farm and, your family was your social life, right? Sure. And then the 40s and the 50s came along and you started to see kids have their own teen culture. But this is a place where parents really aren't even a part of it. And we don't even know how to be part of it. I mean, because every time we think we figured out something that our kids are doing on the phone, there's another advancement, another platform. And so we're always 3 or 4 steps behind where our kids are, who are much more tech savvy than we are. And so, so the answer is I agree with the Surgeon General, and my daughter does not have a phone, and none of the other ones coming down will either.
Do you
can buy her own phone when she's 18?
So is that kind of your philosophy on it? Because there's the obvious great convenience. My kids are in sports. I'm sure yours are in all sorts of different activities where if they're in one place or the other, you can't possibly be everywhere at the same time to be able to contact them. Yeah. So the idea that they could have that's different than saying, here's the entire internet in your hands and the privacy of wherever you want to be. Is that different for you? Yeah.
No, so that's a great point. So her older brother, who's 16, did get a phone. So we basically cut it off for her. So he has a phone, and they go to school together. And he's now starting to drive the kids to school. So he has a phone, and we haven't taken away, though we have restricted it. I think in another year we may give her a flip phone so that then she can contact us, but she's not on any of the social media apps. I think with the older son, it's not a male-female thing. I think it's hard when you have Pandora's box, right? Yeah. And you opened it. And so we are restricting his use of it, and he has to give it to me at night, which, sometimes happens and sometimes doesn't. Again, this is why it's such a problem. It's just so hard to control it.
Yeah. We're speaking with Fox News contributor and co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends, Rachel Duffy. She's a mother of 9. I think it's interesting to hear that, those first 4 that are older, the oldest being 23, that you experienced enough of the negative of that you decided, come hell or high water with the next kid who's going to say, you're the meanest mom of any of my friends. I mean, as a mom, if you never hear that, then you're probably not setting your boundaries the way, you're kind of you're supposed to love them so much that you're willing to be mean for their benefit. And I'm wondering what was it that you saw in your home or with those kids that made you go, I'm willing to take, especially for that first kid who doesn't have the phone. That's kind of rough, but you decided to make that decision.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's all, you're bringing up really great points. So first of all, let me just backtrack a little bit. Before the phones, there was a lot of parents were talking more about the addiction to video games. You remember that?
Yeah.
It was like, boys are, especially boys, addicted to video games. So because I don't really like video games, and I just thought, at that time there was a lot of talk about whether they're violent or whatever. So I never had video games in my house ever. And what I saw was that my sons and my daughters, probably more likely, that the girls weren't that interested in anyway, but my sons were not into video games. And so they would go to, other people's houses to spend the night, and they'd come back and go, I don't want to go there anymore. It's boring. All they do is play video games.
Yeah.
And they weren't into them. And so I think there's something there that, like, if you are able to hold off on the phone so they're not addicted so early on that they feel like they can't live with it, like it's an appendage to their body. I think, some people would say, well, you're not teaching. I had a friend on my network. We had this discussion last weekend, and they're like, you're not teaching your kid to have limits on, how to manage the phone.
Yes.
And my point is, they can't control it. Just as the Surgeon General said, they are toast next to the people who have designed this to maximize addiction. So my point is, why would I hand them something that I know is addictive? I don't hand them drugs. I was never one of those moms that, like, just as long as they drink and smoke pot in my house, I'm okay with it. I'm not that kind of mom.
Yeah.
So I want to set an idea that this is not a great thing. And the fact that I'm saying no to it and limiting it are things that are signals to them that this is not an item that has no consequence to it. And also, I'm hoping that by waiting as long as I can before they have it, they will feel less addicted to it. I think your original question was what I saw. You know what I saw? I saw it wasn't good for my family life.
Oh, amen.
I already have enough problems because first of all, I don't have a laptop. I don't ever use it. So I get all my news on my phone. So it looks like I'm on my phone all the time because I'm reading articles. And so I already have enough trouble with myself handling it. There's no way my kids can manage that. And so I just wanted to not have it, in the house as much anymore. And again, I lost that battle with the first 4, but I have a do-over and I have, 5 more down below. And so I'm going to do it differently. And now not everyone gets that chance. I hope people can learn from our experience.
I think that's such great advice and good on you for being able to adjust and be strong enough to do the right thing and not fall trap to the other ones have
Annie, can I say one thing before? Because one of the ways to make it easier to make that choice is if you know your friend's parent, your kid's friend's parents, you can band together with them.
Yeah.
You're likely to find other parents who are like, yeah. And so then when they go, everyone has a phone. Like, no, they're not. Annie doesn't have a phone. Joey doesn't have a phone. So-and-so doesn't have a phone. I know because I talked to their parents, and we've all banded together to make sure. So you make it socially easier for them if you do that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Just a little tip.
The last question I have for you before I have to let you go, Rachel Campos Duffy with us right now, is a lot of what you're talking about is spot on about what your kids can do with that phone and the addiction that goes along with it, the things that they can access. But I think that it often isn't talked enough about what can get to your kids through that phone. And Fox News did this story about, such a tragic story about a boy named Walker Montgomery, who 16 years old, was kind of like catfished by these Nigerian scammers, and they opened a conversation posing as a young girl, opened a video chat. He did some things on that video chat that they then held against him, and he ended up taking his own life because of this. And this story, as having a 13-year-old boy, thinking that child was so frightened in that moment that he didn't feel like he had an out. I think that it's also important to talk about how the world can get to the kids. Even if your kid is the best kid in the world, would never, air quotes, do anything like that. You just can't protect them from everything. And if that phone is in their hands, the world can get to them.
Annie, the average age for viewing pornography for the first time has been precipitously dropping. It is now 10 years old. The average age that young children are encountering online pornography, and much of it has become increasingly more and more hardcore because people are becoming desensitized to it, is 10 years old. That is not good for society. And actually in France, now, to view pornography, you have to register to view any pornography so that they can keep young kids off. And they've decided, and by the way, I'm not a pro-regulation person. I think this is the best idea ever. You know why? Because it's just good for society. And I actually want to do a podcast on this. I want to bring someone in to talk about it because I think that's the solution. And yeah, people can say, oh, my freedom and my privacy. Well, you know what? You're going to have to register if you're going to see pornography, because more important than your privacy is the protection of young minds, because that's what's right for society. And right now, they are pushing and trying to get, just as they're getting kids addicted to the phones, pornography is highly addictive and highly destructive to the brain development of young people. And that is another reason to keep them off the phones. It's not
important.
maybe the most important.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because the pornography portion of this is the part that a lot of people have this conversation and allude to and don't call it out into the open. And it needs to be, because we got to know and talk about what we're really discussing here. Rachel Campos Duffy, I love having you on. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Bye-bye. Rachel Campos Duffy, the co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends, Fox News contributor, wife, and mother of 9. Good on her. I have 4 kids, and people were talking about my dozens and dozens of children. She almost legitimately has a dozen children. That's pretty amazing. Let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show coverage of the announcement today from the Missouri Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, issuing the eviction notice of sorts to Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. Told her resign or be fired by noon today. She did not resign. There's a 2:30 press conference about that from Kim Gardner's office, and he has come out and said that he is going to fire her. That requires court litigation and a trial and a hearing, but that process has begun. Potentially a brighter tomorrow for St. Louis. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Air Comfort Service, they're dedicated to keeping you in your comfort zone, and that requires a few things in your house. I'll talk to you about their AeroSeal duct sealing. They came to my house and then performed this, and it made a huge difference in how the air comes out of the HVAC system and moves throughout the house. If you have a lot of leaks in your ventilation, guess what? The air that you're trying to push to the top floor, it's not getting there. And you have to work your system a lot more in order to heat and cool your whole house. When they go through and seal all the ductwork, it makes it so that you can evenly and equally and more efficiently heat and cool your home. Get an AeroSeal duct sealing with Air Comfort Service and enjoy the benefits of saving on your energy costs very quickly. Do you have a home that heats and cools very, very differently on the bottom floor versus the top floor? This might be the thing for you. You can reach out to Air Comfort Service by calling them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you get a hold of them. You can find them online as well at aircomfortservice.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm Eric Robert with Stifel. The economy is always changing, but what does it mean for your investments? Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Bob Stockdale during On the Money, Saturday mornings from 11 until noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Make sure you're heating your home safely this winter with a heating system check. And for all other heating services, repairs, or if you need a new heating or HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it.
Take this pink ribbon off my eyes. I'm exposed, and it's no big surprise. Don't you think I know exactly where I stand? This world is forcing me to.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
This is about the rule of law and about justice. Instead of protecting victims, which is her obligation, she's creating more victims by neglect in office.
So that is Attorney General Andrew Bailey talking about Kim Gardner. Mike Parson reacted.
People want to feel safe when they walk down the street. They want their kids to be able to go out and be safe. And you got to take bad people off the street. So we got to quit doing what we're doing right now because it's not working. And this is a perfect example of why.
Governor Parson talking about the news today that the Attorney General has fired Kim Gardner. There's a 2:30 press conference on this, and we will monitor that as well from Kim Gardner's office. And essentially, the Attorney General has to start this legal process to remove her from office. And if you are interested, Hans von Spakovsky, we asked him if he could talk about this. He came well prepared.
He was loaded for bear.
Yeah, he gave us a ton of details on what Kim Gardner has done in her time in office. Rewind on the Odyssey app to 12:25 p.m. today, and you can listen to his whole conversation talking about just story after story, anecdote after anecdote of different things that have happened while Kim Gardner has been in the circuit attorney position and just her complete and total neglect of duty. It's shocking. And it's funny to me. It's actually funny to me to watch some people react and say oh, this is racially motivated. My Lord in heaven. I can't even with you. If that's what you think, bring that out into the open at the beginning of the conversation, just so that I know where this conversation is going and how long the conversation doesn't need to be.
Yeah, no joke.
I'm not changing your mind on that. I'm not even going to try. It's unbelievable. Fox News covered it with their reporter here. Let's listen into what they had to say about the news here in St. Louis.
Well, Jackie, the Missouri Attorney General is trying to force out Kim Gardner. He has not actually done so yet. He had given her until noon local time to resign. And having not received that resignation at 12:01 Central Time, he began the legal process to have her removed. The AG saying today Gardner has been negligent in her duties as circuit attorney and has repeatedly let down the people of St. Louis.
This is about the rule of law and about justice. Instead of protecting victims, which is her obligation, she's creating more victims by neglect in office.
The final straw for the AG appears to have been an incident over the weekend in which 17-year-old Janae Edmondson, who was in town for a volleyball tournament, was horrifically injured as the result of a car crash seen on this security camera video that happened as Edmondson walked downtown with her family. Edmondson lost both her legs when she was pinned between two vehicles. The driver who caused the crash was named as 21-year-old Daniel Riley. He was out on bond and on house arrest over an August 2022 robbery case. And court records show he had violated that house arrest order dozens of times. Since the incident and Gardner's response blaming the judge for allowing Riley to be out on bond, other officials have also weighed in. The Democrat mayor of St. Louis saying Gardner needs to, quote, take some accountability, and the Republican Missouri governor telling reporters today he backs the call for Gardner's resignation. given a pattern of rising violent crime in St. Louis.
So you have a lot of people, a lot of high-profile people on both sides of the aisle. This is a pretty bipartisan call. And we had Will Scharf in the studio yesterday. He's a former federal prosecutor in the Eastern District here in Missouri, and he's running for Attorney General. I think that this, if Andrew Bailey is able to see this through, it's going to be an interesting primary to see if Will Scharf can get any traction. But he was in here saying that this is the type of thing that needs to be done. And he was saying, a lot of pressure needs to be put on the mayoral office. I said yesterday, there's no chance that anything's going to come out of the mayor's office. And I mean, you could probably go back and look at the time that I was saying that and the time that the mayor put out the statement, and they were near the same time. I'm not in any way, shape, or form indicating that I had anything to do with that, but that's how much this story has moved in the last 24 hours. And I commend Mayor Tashara Jones for doing this, for being a part of the voice that is going against Kim Gardner and saying, we cannot sustain a city like this. You have to change your direction. You have to make sure that you understand the idea of crime and the fact that your job is here to prosecute it. That is your job. And for Kim Gardner to come out and say, this is not the time for finger pointing. Good grief, lady. When would the time come for finger pointing? You've got to be kidding me. So big news. We'll continue to watch how this develops. It's going to have to go to trial, and a judge will have to effectively make the decision to finalize this, and so that will take time. But we will be sure to cover here on the Annie Frey Show and 97.1 FM Talk as the details progress. I was going to talk about the juror. I don't really know. I don't really know anything about what is the lawsuit.
So this is the grand jury.
Yes.
For the Trump Georgia election stuff.
They're trying to charge him with what?
I don't know.
Election
because they
fraud?
haven't released the grand
Tampering?
jury has suggested or recommended indictments, but they haven't released what those indictments are.
Sure,
to my knowledge.
But the grand jury is supposed to figure out what the deal is. Well, whatever. That's not the story here for me. If it turns out that the president is being charged with something, we will certainly be here to cover that. I go back to that call that Donald Trump had with the Georgia election officials, and the phrase is from Donald Trump, I just need you to find me 8,000 votes. Isn't that what it is?
Something like that.
It is the most taken out of context phrase of the entire 2020 news cycle. The idea that Donald Trump, the suggestion is they pull that quote out of, and I listened to the entire conversation. I was on a treadmill. My recollection is that it was a 45-minute conversation. I listened to the whole thing in complete context because I thought, he can't tell people to go find votes. I mean, that's what the right is accusing the left of doing, and we can't be a party to that. So I was like, what's the story? What's the real scoop? I'm not going to wait for someone to tell me. I'm going to listen to the conversation myself, and then I formulate my own opinion. He is not telling people to manufacture 8,000 votes and apply them so he can win. That's not what he's doing. It never was what he was doing. What he was saying, whether you agree with it or not, and I understand that a lot of people are going to disagree with this, honestly, on both sides of the aisle. What he was saying is I think he listed 3 different major concerns that he had about the election in Georgia in 2020. Some had to do with mail-in ballots. Some had to do with the way they were counting the ballots or ballots that weren't collected or something like that. And I can't remember what the third one was. It might have been like the absentee ballots or something. In that conversation, he's saying, I don't remember what the specific number is, but in that conversation, he's identifying in his mind 6 figures of ballots that he seems to be in question, that he's got questions about, that he wants more information of. He's saying, I'm not telling you that you need to shore up and reconcile all the ballots that I'm talking about in these multiple issues. I'm telling you, if you just find 8,000 votes, this changes Georgia. That's what he was saying. Now, I'm not arguing the merit of his argument. I'm not arguing for or against what he's saying there. I'm just saying that anybody who uses the phrase, oh, I just need you to find me 8,000 ballots or 18,000. I don't even know what the total number was. I thought it was 8. He's not suggesting to the people, to the state the Secretary of State, he's not suggesting to the Secretary of State, hey, buddy, just go find 8,000 ballots. Just go make them happen. And we'll put them in there and we'll count them and we'll turn the state around. It's not what he's saying. It's just factually not. Listen to the conversation yourself. That doesn't mean that what Donald Trump was asking, that there were 8,000 votes to find. He's saying, I'm making up a number. I think there are 350,000 ballots here that could be questionable. I don't need you to go through 350,000. I just need you to find me 8,000 out of those, and it changes the course of this election. That's what he was saying. Does that context matter, Brad? I think it does.
Context always matters. It always matters. I haven't had the opportunity to listen to the full interview, or I haven't taken the time out of my day because
you know how many people have? Very few.
Like you and like 4 others, right?
I would hope that there are other people in the media who have.
Like, to me, it's always been, this is just one more thing that they were coming after him about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one more, let's grab his words, let's twist him. It's like the whole Charlottesville thing.
Yes.
Let's just grab him, twist him out of context, and make him say what we want him to say.
Is it fair to say that Donald Trump doesn't handle the situation in the best way to make that?
Oh, he's awful.
I was just thinking today, there's nobody who has better upside than Donald Trump, but there's nobody who has better downside than Donald Trump. It's a hard thing to reconcile on the right side of the aisle for the presidential election. Stick around. We'll get the crew in here for the 2 o'clock hour. Don't go away.
Need to sell your home, but not willing to play the wait-and-see game? Hey, it's Mark Cox here for Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. With Gloria, you have options, including a no-obligation cash offer from one of Gloria Lou's cash buyers. It's simple, it's straightforward, and in many cases, you can receive a cash offer in less than 24 hours. And you can even pick the closing date. With Gloria Lou and her cash offer program, you're always in control. Not ready for a cash offer? No problem. Gloria has a guaranteed sold program that states Gloria will sell your home at the agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it guaranteed in writing. Call her today and ask about her no obligation cash offer program at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
So flooring shopping is very exciting once you get into it. You want to make sure that you are getting a great deal for the money that you've earned and the new floors that you're looking to buy. Michael's Flooring Outlet has the answer for you. They are very, very dedicated to making sure that their clients from start to finish are very, very satisfied. I want you to understand that Michael's Flooring Outlet is a family-owned and operated business. And to me, that means a lot, because if you are going to purchase your flooring and you know that you're helping, somebody who's made their living off of building something here in St. Louis, I think that that's important. I think it's worthy of support. But they also have to, they can't just, be family-owned and operated business. They have to have a great product. Michael's Flooring Outlet has that. They have all the top brands that you want. They have great deals on all sorts of different options for you. They have the Mohawk Smart Strand brand of carpeting. I love carpet in my home. Makes it nice and comfy and cozy. It's all there at Michael's Flooring Outlet, and you can start your shopping right now. IGotFloored.com.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Russia is about to face more sanctions. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Tomorrow, 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine, President Biden will hold a virtual meeting with G7 leaders and Ukraine's president days after visiting him in Kyiv. And they plan to hit Russia's president in the wallet.
The United States will implement sweeping sanctions against key sectors that generate revenue for Putin, go after more Russian banks, Russia's defense and technology industry.
Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the sanctions will also target third-party countries attempting to backfill and evade sanctions. Facing questions about the president not visiting the site of a toxic train derailment in Ohio, she says he directed the multi-agency response. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg visiting East Palestine earlier today.
Norfolk Southern will pay for this remediation, and the federal administration will be here to hold them accountable for that and make sure that they are making this community whole.
The NTSB's preliminary report on the crash says the crew was slowing the train down to check an overheated wheel bearing when that bearing failed. More prison time for Harvey Weinstein, the former movie producer just sentenced to 16 years in California for the rape of an Italian actress and model. That's in addition to the more than 20 years Weinstein has left to serve for a similar conviction in New York. Missouri's Attorney General wants a prosecutor fired for neglecting her duties.
I wish that we weren't at this point today. However, the rule of law and justice demand that action be taken to hold Kim Gardner accountable for her failure to discharge her ethical, moral, and legal obligations.
Republican State Attorney General Andrew Bailey is in the process of asking the courts to remove Gardner, a Democrat. He says the tipping point was a weekend car crash that left a teenage girl with both legs amputated. The suspect had reportedly violated bond conditions repeatedly. Gardner has accused critics of twisting facts. She's set to hold her own news conference. America is listening to Fox News.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. It can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Temperatures on the way down this afternoon. Nothing extreme, but we're in the 40s, and with a gusty wind, it's a little bit chilly. Plenty of sunshine, though. Tonight, clear skies, fading winds, but very cold. 22 for the overnight low. Friday, sunny and cold. Relatively light winds on Friday, 42. The weekend, Saturday, partly sunny, 52. Sunday, clouds, some rain showers, and 58. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is Tom Ackerman. McKelvey Homes was founded in 1898, celebrating its 125th anniversary this year. They are taking $18,980 off homes through the month of March and making a donation of $1,898, $1898, to Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital for every house sold. McKelvey Homes. Online at McKelveyHomes.com. That's McKelveyHomes.com.
If you need a new fence or deck, experience matters. At Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they've been at it since 1968. Mark Cox here. If you want the sign you have the very best, go to Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Visit their extensive showroom there in Chesterfield. They'll give you free in-home estimates, no obligation, even free project design. Their fences are made in the USA. They're wood, vinyl, or aluminum, even steel and chain link, and their decks are beautiful natural cedar. Plus, they have that Vecadec vinyl decking, which is the strongest in the industry, with no maintenance. They also do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. You'll want to find out more about Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go online today to chesterfieldfence.com. Mention Mark Cox, and you'll get a special discount for the month of February and March. chesterfieldfence.com, or call them today at 636-532-4054.
The Closet Factory, online at closetfactory.com, 314-961-4300, 314-961-4300. They can help you organize your life with custom storage designed and built around you. This can be in a lot of different places in your home. If you are looking at your kitchen and you feel like you don't have enough space, have the Closet Factory come in and design something for you, customized for your needs. I mean, even to like, what are the height of your canisters in your pantry? That's kind of the same type of a thing that they did for us in our master closet in our home. They measured out different sections, and it was, how long are your dresses, Annie? How long are your pants? Do you want to my husband, do you want to hang your pants long ways, or do you want to fold them over a hanger? All the different places in our closet are customized for us, and it's also adjustable so that if somebody else moved in and wanted to change it around, they certainly could. The Closet Factory is a St. Louis business that is designed around making your life easier and giving you bright spots in your home that now absorb your life so that you can continue to live in that home and enjoy the space that you're in. Reach out to the Closet Factory by giving them a call at 314-961-4300. You can find them online at closetfactory.com.
Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends 2/25. See staples.com/store/printing for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. You found it here.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. News out of the day. Big news here in St. Louis making the national headlines. The Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, has fired Kim Gardner, circuit attorney here, who is under a lot of pressure from many people, including the mayor of St. Louis, Tashara Jones, really ridiculing Kim Gardner for her comment saying now's not the time for finger pointing. Tashara Jones pointed her finger directly at Kim Gardner. It was good to see. This starts a legal process, and we're going to continue to cover that. The Attorney General doesn't just get to fire Kim Gardner, but he is in a position to start this process and have her removed from that office. So we'll continue to watch that. There's supposed to be a 2:30 press conference that Kim Gardner's office is giving, so we will deliver that. The last segment, I was talking to you about Donald Trump, and we were talking about the trial, the Georgia trial. And I went off on a tangent. I didn't even know until right now that I was on a tangent. I didn't want to talk about the trial. I don't want to talk about the election. I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. I want to talk about this psycho juror that's out there running her mouth. God's honest truth, Scout's honor. First time I saw her, I sent to Brad, and I was not going to say this on the air. If you haven't seen this woman speaking, do I have a clip?
Uh-huh.
If you haven't seen her talking, then you need to see it with your own eyes. Are all of these her? Emily
not the
Kors?
last one. Yeah, Emily Kors is the name.
This is going to hurt my ears.
Is it, would you say, when it comes to, there are indictments recommended, of course. Is it more than 12 people? Is it more than 20 people?
I think if you look at the page numbers of the report, there's about 6 pages in the middle that got cut out. Allow for spacing. It's not a short list.
Not a short list.
Here's more.
I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, do you solemnly swear? And me getting to swear him in. I kind of just thought that would be an awesome moment.
Oh my gosh, it makes me so mad. I don't know. Again, not interested in the trial. I am interested if there's something, if there's smoke, there's fire. If there's a charge to be leveled, then charge him with it and make your case. American justice system at work. This woman is nuts. And I don't know, is there a condition that she has before I go in on this? Because I said to Brad, this woman gives me like demonic vibes. Because when she is on the camera talking to this woman from, I think it was CNN, right?
Uh-huh.
She has this like fidgety, she looks all around. She doesn't look into the camera. She's maniacally smiling and giggling. It makes you so uncomfortable to watch it. She's the foreman of the jury that's supposed to be coming up with charges. A grand jury died a ham sandwich. She's the one who's leading the charge. They voted for her to do that. And then I found out that apparently, I don't know what Tucker said last night, that she's a witch. I found that out down the road. And I'm like, well, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch it.
Have you seen that there's a horror movie out there right now called Smile?
No.
Have you seen this? You know what
I've
I'm
heard
talking
of it.
about? They did a campaign with it because they would have people standing.
Are you telling me that this is part of a promotion for a movie?
That would be something, wouldn't it? That would be next level. No, I'm saying that they would have people stand at sporting events and just smile creepily into the camera, and then the camera would zoom in on them, and it was paid for.
Sure.
But it was like a weird PR event that they would do that even if you didn't see the movie, you might have seen this thing, and it was strange.
I'm glad I haven't.
She looks like she's doing that ad.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
But it made me so uncomfortable. It felt, I'm not saying it was, but it felt evilly.
I get it. Oh, I get exactly. No, it's really hard to watch that and not understand exactly what you're saying.
I wouldn't want to watch somebody speaking to me that way. I really wouldn't want somebody that was acting and speaking and behaving in that manner being the foreperson on the jury that is trying to indict me or looking about whether or not they wanted to indict me. I would not feel good about my odds or my chances.
Now, she would be a great character in the movie Smile, which I don't think you guys are arguing with. I think I'm just saying.
Do you know that movie?
I've not seen it.
It's
I
a horror
know that
movie.
There was a movie
where people smile evilly before they kill someone.
You explained it. I just never heard of it or seen it. But that does not mean it's not super culturally relevant because I don't know these things.
I don't like horror movies, so I'm acutely aware of the horror movies that are out there, so I can avoid them.
Here's more from CNN reacting.
Why this person is talking on TV, I do not understand. She's clearly enjoying herself.
Anderson Cooper.
But, I mean, is this responsible? She was the foreperson of this grand jury.
This is a horrible idea, and I guarantee you that prosecutors are wincing watching her go on this.
I was wincing just watching her eagerness to, hint at stuff.
It's painful in that respect. This is a very serious prospect here. We're talking about indicting any person. You're talking about potentially taking away that person's liberty. We're talking about potentially a former president for the first time in this nation's history. She does not seem to be taking that very seriously.
There's no reason for her to be out talking.
No,
I mean,
it's a prosecutor's nightmare. Mark my words, Donald Trump's team is going to make a motion if there's an indictment to dismiss that indictment based on grand jury impropriety. She's not supposed to be talking about anything, really, but she's really not supposed to be talking about the deliberations. She's talking about what specific witnesses they saw, what the grand jury thought of them. She says some of them we found credible, some of them we found funny. I don't know why that's relevant, but she's been saying we found this guy funny or interesting. I think she's potentially crossing a line here. It's going to be a real problem for prosecutors.
Brad sends me this DM, more of this, and I'm watching her video. I can't take my face away. I can't stop looking at her. Make me uncomfortable. Did this person's whose tweet you sent me, do you know who this person was, or did you just?
Mm-mm.
Samia Ali Salama? I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I've seen this across several different.
It says in all caps, is she trolling or a kooky Trumper?
Okay.
He says, if the giggling, immature forewoman of the special grand jury who was thrilled to meet seditionist Giuliani, whose lies she believed, and who wanted to meet Trump is typical of the jurors, we're in trouble. Naturally, this is Donald Trump's fault.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what? Really? How do you make that connection? Well, I guess it is. I mean, like that person was saying there from the clip.
All right, stop sending me pictures of the movie Smile. I don't want to see it. Everybody knock it off. You too, balls. The people who tuned in to hear the Kim Gardner thing at 12:45 and heard us talking about big jugs probably just tuned back in right now.
Yeah. sorry
What
about
is this
that.
filth on the air?
It's a
That's
gross.
what his name is. I'm just calling him by his name. Aren't we supposed to respect identities? I thought so. Just being respectful to balls.
Oh, okay. I was like, who are you talking about? Trump? To balls.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes. I the only way you could connect this to Trump is to say that Trump somehow preordained this nutty person to be in charge of this trial because he knew she was going to self-destruct like this.
This is like 8D chess.
I mean, really.
This is a 4D chess game within the 4D chess game that I cannot keep up with. Donald Trump is a genius, so
When you saw the clip originally of this girl, did you feel a little bit bad for her?
no, I was scared for me on my side of the TV screen.
Okay. Yeah, like she was going to come through it like The Ring. Speaking of other horror movies.
I've seen that one. That one came out when I was still free, independent. When did The Ring come out? Did that come out in the late 90s?
Early 2000s, I would guess.
Something like that.
2002, when I was a senior in high school.
The Japanese version probably came out in the late 90s, which is probably what you're referring to.
Not even in the slightest. So does this throw the whole thing, like, does this become a, like, what happens?
If I'm Trump's attorneys, I'm using that in the defense and everything like that man on CNN said. I'm taking this and using this to my advantage to end this trial. And
it's funny how mad she's making people like Joy Behar.
She's like, shut up!
We almost had him! Shriek! Yeah, that's basically like all you get from The View. I heard. I don't know. I don't watch it. I only see it in clips. I wonder what the actual eyes on The View, the actual ratings, the viewers that they have versus the views of the clips that are shared in conservative circles.
Oh my gosh,
I bet it's more by conservatives.
Way more.
So what incentive would they have to stop being shrieky, angry, out of their prime women?
The only incentive I would think is that are those people who are hearing those clips turning around and becoming View watchers? I think the answer is no.
No, but it's an industry. That's why I don't like to play their clips on the show, because I don't want to give them what they want, which is just more attention.
Here's the problem is that daytime TV in general has gone down to basically nothing. Nobody's watching it. I mean, generally TV is just going that direction, but daytime TV in particular is at the bottom of the hill now. But The View is like burning down the house and ruling over the ashes. The View still gets among daytime viewers the most of nobody.
Scooter says on our YouTube chat, I'd rather talk about the substance of the accusations rather than what this young woman looks like and whether we like her voice. I bet you would.
We did that.
I bet you would. Absolutely. I would too, because then it would mean that it wouldn't be a story. But we weren't covering it anyway. And I know that many people will be like, oh, that's because you are in love with Donald Trump. Well, if he ends up going to trial, if Donald Trump's going to take the stand, yeah, I'm going to cover that. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Do you want me to do the same if Hunter Biden has to testify in front of Congress? Because I'm going to talk about that too. I mean, come on. Like, when Nikki Haley announces that she's going to run for the presidency, a woman of color who has a long resume of being an ambassador to the UN, of being a governor, a very successful governor of South Carolina, of being a family of immigrants who came to this country, and as she says, she was a brown girl in a black and white world, that's her phrase. What a beautiful story of the American dream that the Democrats love when the person's a Democrat. It really boils down to that. If she's a Republican, it negates anything she's ever done, because the worst thing you could be in the world is a Republican. And then when Don Lemon, who's hosting the morning show on CNN, it's CNN, right? Why do I always get that confused with MSNBC, because I don't watch either one of them outside of clips. Don Lemon, who is hosting the morning show on CNN, boils it down to her age and her accomplishments. Why would we permit that? I mean, listen, we get to talk about what we want to talk about here. People are arguing, it seems like daily, about the Annie Frey show. These people say that they're a new show. This is the Annie Frey show. And I have a host of friends who help me with this show, and we talk about what we want to talk about. We cover issues, we cover culture, we cover things that we find funny, we cover like at 12:45, 8 healthy things you are already doing, or are you? Which is a really interesting sentence. It's like so accusatory. We didn't even go over it. I mean, we do what we want here because we want to spend time with you. We want to talk about things that matter, but we also know that if I've listened to enough conservative talk radio in my lifetime that it becomes very exhausting to consume the rage that goes from day to day to day in a city like St. Louis, where crime is rampant, in a country where we've got train derailments and an open border. Some people think that the education system is under attack from the right. Some people think it's under attack from the left. Some people think it's under attack by domestic terrorist parents. I mean, there are a lot of things from all angles that people are concerned about right now. And if you spend all day, every day, only talking about that substance, that would make a really great documentary and probably a really boring radio show. So that lady is nuts, and I'm not backing down with it.
Conclusion, that lady is nuts.
Were you uncomfortable the first time you saw her?
Yeah.
Brad?
Yeah, I was unsettled.
I asked that question because I really did feel bad for her, which is a weird thing to do with news and with a grand jury, but
how does she get to that position?
Yeah, she doesn't look like she should be there.
If she has a condition that would preclude her from being able to carry out the duties of that job, how does she get on CNN?
I don't know. And if she's the head of the pack, what's the rest of these people? I would not.
Here's the way it is. She's not a Trumper, but that jury is. And they're like, pick her. Yeah, pick her.
Put her in charge.
Put her in charge.
Send
That's
her out.
great. I'm just going to say. When they write the book, you say, Annie Frey said that at 2:20 on Thursday. And then we'll all laugh uncomfortably like she did on CNN. Yeah, exactly. Let's take a quick break. We're going to monitor the press conference that's supposed to be coming out at 2:30 from Kim Gardner's office, so stay around for that. Join us on the YouTube channel. We got quite an audience over there. We'd appreciate you joining the conversation as well. Today's YouTube live chat poll, which I think this is the first time I've mentioned it, is what kind of neighborhood do you live in? Do you live in the city? Do you live in the suburbs, or are you more rural? You can go vote on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And the reason I ask that is because I also want to know what your comments are. Why do you choose to live where you live? Let's talk about that and our responses in a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Listening to people who have worked with C.A. Jones and understanding what it's like to go through a C.A. Jones home build on the Illinois side of the river, you can understand why people are so excited to start that process and to go through it. C.A. Jones works very hard to make it smooth sailing for you, and the options, the finishes, the details, the layout, the additions that you can choose for yourself. When you build your home, your next home with C.A. Jones, it's really magnificent. On the website at cajonesinc.com, you can use their home builder tool that allows you to pick a plan. They have different layouts that you can check out on their websites. It kind of helps you walk through the process of maybe the way you would like your next home to be laid out. But then you can put it in their home builder plan and see what that house is going to look like. If you want white brick and maybe black shutters and a black roof, okay, maybe that's the one that I just picked and really like to go back there and rebuild it a bunch. When you go onto cajonesinc.com, you're going to be able to see exactly what that home is going to look like from the outside and maybe play with some of the things on the inside as well. They are an Energy Star certified home builder, and they are there to make the process as smooth and wonderful for you as they can. Go online to cajonesinc.com.
Secrets, cover-ups, and strange phenomena.
UFOs and ideas that challenge reality itself.
My name is George Knapp. I dig into news stories that others can't or won't.
I'm Jeremy Corbell, and for some reason, people tell me things they probably shouldn't. And this is Weaponized. Follow and listen to Weaponized, the presentation of Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, Dark Horse Entertainment, and Cadence 13 Studios. Available now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your shows.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And did we mention it's aluminum free? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 901 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 901. LumeDeodorant.com, code 901 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 901.
It's the final days of Ashley Home Store's President's Day sale. Last chance to save big, up to 50% off. Shop deals starting at $399 or get no interest for 5 years with no down payment. That's no interest until 2028. Don't miss huge mattress savings at Ashley Home Store. Save up to $500 on best-selling Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets in stock and ready for delivery. Text deals to 79975 to learn more. Ends Monday. Only at Ashley Home Store.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. John Mellencamp is coming to the Stiefel Theater on April 22nd, and every hour you log into the Odyssey app, you'll be entered to win. Between now and March 5th, listen to 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app, and you could win tickets to see John Mellencamp April 22nd.
I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, and Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fist. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list. But she said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some super.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Some fairy tale bliss, just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. 2:30 is supposed to be a press conference from Kim Gardner's office. We are monitoring that, and we'll keep you updated if any news happens there. Today's YouTube live chat poll, have you gone and vote yet? We want to know in the comments why you voted, how you did. The YouTube live chat poll is, what kind of neighborhood do you live in? And the options that I gave, the three, city, suburban, or rural. Are there any other options that I missed? The only other one I could think was like on the road.
Space station.
Truckers.
A van
we
down
got
by the
truckers.
river.
We got truckers listening to the show right now, and I see you, and I'm grateful for you. You should know that, because every once in a while I hear from you. People will say, when I come to St. Louis, I turn on 97.1. When I'm passing through St. Louis, and they keep us on as long as they can, and I love it when they message me that, because I'm like, here's a little thing called the Odyssey app. Take us across the entire country. And then they do.
Yeah, we appreciate when you tune in. in Mount Vernon all the way to somewhere around the east side of Rolla.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
That's just our range.
Yeah.
So Brad, you would define your neighborhood as?
It's definitely suburban.
Ryan?
Suburban.
Same here, suburban. Brad, how'd you grow up?
I grew up in the country.
Yeah.
Rural.
Yeah.
Rural.
It's a hard word to say.
Sweet.
What about you?
Suburban. No change.
You know, it really does. If you think about this, Brad, Ryan, just
yeah.
take your headphones off.
I can get out of
then
here.
Then you can't hear us. There you go.
There we go. Now I can't hear anything.
He can't hear us. He sees our mouth moving.
Earmuffs.
But that's the opposite of earmuffs.
Mute.
Doesn't it make kind of sense that Ryan, like all of the way he acts about things and his just casual natures, that he has always been suburban?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It fits, yeah.
Ryan, do you know what I'm saying? Hey, Ryan, put your headphones back on.
I could pick out a city folk from Miles.
Well, he's not city folk.
No, but he's close enough.
There's a difference between being city and suburban. There's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm not a city rat.
I grew up rural, and I am suburban now, and I am working very hard to get back out to the country. Oops.
Same.
Did you spill your water again?
No, just knocked my phone.
Why
I
would
actually
you
need
say
more water.
that?
And I have too much pride to ask anybody to get me any.
What's that?
Why would I say what? That you seem
whatever you said about me when I couldn't hear you.
Like a suburban lifer?
Yeah, why would you say that?
There's a huge amount of convenience that's involved in being suburban. That's why people are suburban.
Yep.
Yeah, so
you live a life of preferred convenience.
I indeed do.
So Ryan, whenever
I don't think you can say indeed.
And I'll use
What is this?
That's just something we say in the suburbs.
High class suburban.
Oh yeah.
How big of a deal is it if you open up the refrigerator and realize, I'm out of orange juice?
No, I
need to
believe
get
it's
some.
I'm out of orange juice. Yeah, there you
go. It's not a big deal at all because I'm close to everything.
So like for me, that was at least 45
Did you grow up
minutes to
saying,
an hour out of my day.
Would you grow up using the phrase, we need to go into town?
Yes, into town.
Because I mean, you guys know where I live. I will still say go into town. And
Really?
I could walk to Walmart.
Oh man, I'm so smack dab in the middle of town.
But when I was growing up, and you guys have both been to my childhood home, we would refer to as going into town. Was that country enough? I mean, and you got to think of the way that area was way less developed than it is right now to go into town.
I get why you would say that because the view that you have is very rural there, but you weren't far from anything either.
Perfectly set up to be able to have the country lifestyle without the country or the suburban city life. But I would always say to my friends, Katrina especially, I don't know if Katrina, I know she listens to this show from time to time, but Katrina was my best friend for much of my high school career. And I'd always be like, oh, do you want to go into town and get something to eat? And she'd always be like, what do you mean go into town? I'm like, go from here, which is not in town.
Into town.
Into the town.
She's kind of right. You were rural cosplay.
I don't know. I think it was legit.
Ryan, could you?
I grew up playing in a creek. I do call it a creek. I don't call it a crick.
Yeah.
I grew up playing in a creek. There was literally nowhere you could walk to buy anything. You would have to get on a vehicle. I used to ride my bike into town on bike paths that Madison County's done a fantastic job of developing bike paths. But I mean, it was a 45-minute bike ride to get to town.
Well, that was the same for me, and I lived right in the middle of the suburbs. We couldn't just go. We'd have to ride our bike up to the Quick Stop, which was at least 25 minutes on bike.
Yeah,
or at a family fun time.
But could you take like back roads and whatnot? Not back roads, but side roads and stuff like that, and stay off like the main thoroughfares to get into town?
Mostly.
Yeah. See, for me, I couldn't even ride my bike growing up into town because it would have been an hour to ride it in, and I would have had to ride along. Route 13, State Route 13. You know, cars flying by at 75 miles an hour because in the country, you don't do the speed limit. You do 5 to 10 over.
Our address used to be rural route.
Yes.
Box, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to tell you. But it changed to a street name. I remember when it, like, we got an upgrade.
I remember that.
Did they change? Did that happen to everybody?
That
at
happened to
one
me
time?
when I was living it. Yeah. What was our?
I know. I can think it in my brain.
Oh, I'm so close.
Rural route address was. Say rural route.
Rural route.
You did pretty good.
Thank you.
Probably the best so far.
I mean, that's the way we are. It's just a little classier where I'm from, I guess.
Suburbs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you in your cul-de-sac of everybody there, where do you rank on like the classy, fancy family?
We sit outside in the summer without shirts on and bake and eat.
Do your neighbors have pants on?
Caviar.
It's not about being classy. It's about being classier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a relative thing.
No,
right?
To answer your question, our neighbors are always outside pantsless.
Should we give your address now?
We will not do that. We refuse to do that. In terms of wardrobe,
the Wigginses will be in pants.
Yeah, we look like Mickey and Minnie. They look like Donald.
How do you pluralize your name? Did I say that
Wigginses.
correctly?
No, that's the actual correct linguistic way of doing it.
Of course it is.
Yes. We had a huge debate about this in my house.
Has it been finalized? It's been
No,
settled?
actually, you know what's funny? My wife is a literature and English teacher. One of the extra credit questions she put on a test once was, how do you pluralize my last name?
Sure.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to send out Christmas cards, the apostrophe that pluralizes, that doesn't pluralize it, these are basic things that I see, and Brad knows. I'm just like, ooh.
Oh, I've got to ask. So Ryan's last name's Wiggins. How do you show possession? Do you put apostrophe S or do you just put apostrophe?
On Wiggins?
Yeah.
Just an apostrophe.
That's what I do too. And people are like, oh, you don't have to do it anymore.
It's an apostrophe. That's the AP style that we learned. But I do think it's possible that has changed to be able to add an apostrophe S and be acceptable in places. Which I'm like, you can't change that stuff.
I know.
You can't just do that.
You know what it sounds like? Is it sounds like one of the students that always got that wrong got in charge and be like, you were changing the rules.
Like Joe Biden.
I'm right now.
It's so funny because when you go to make the argument, you can't just change grammar. They're like, well, what are you basing it on? You're like, I don't know. It's just the way it was.
Just
like,
the way
okay.
we learned it.
Yeah.
The double space after a period. Journalistic AP style is one space, and I am A-okay with that. And I had to shed the two space after a period mentality when I was doing digital for the station because I had to do a lot of copywriting. And after I was like, okay, fine, just do it. I realized it was better. But I think that is something that people are very much so opposed to.
Well, on the iPhone, you still hit double space and it'll automatically put a period in there, but it won't do it with a single space.
But but if you hit a double space, it puts a period in and one space. It doesn't double space after the period.
Double space is on the iPhone.
I bet it doesn't. I bet it. You go space, and it makes the first space a period and the second space is an actual space. I'm pretty certain about that. We'll test it in the break.
Scooter
do it right
says-
now.
Wait, go ahead. What?
You do it right now. Do it on your phone.
Well, Scooter says, I thought the plural of Wiggins was Wig-Eye.
I'm just going to make
Wiggy.
a joke. I can't. No, I don't think it's allowed.
No? Is it about my jugs?
No, but those are funny.
They are funny. They bring the boys in the yard, though.
You can't just say that because that's
That's right. It
contextual.
needs context.
People think that you're being crass.
I'm not.
And that's not what people say about the Wigginses of
Right.
Collinsville.
Right. In context, what I was talking about.
You
and still
are
am
a
talking
Wiggins with an apostrophe to make it plural.
about. That was either a really sweet slam
His name
or
is
a compliment
actually
that I
his
don't
name
get.
is actually Wiggin. He's Ryan Wiggin. And he's everywhere all the time, so much that it seems like there are multiple of him. So we call him Wiggins because there's multiple of you.
Ah, so there is a plurality
It's really
of me.
Ryan Wiggins. It's what it feels like to me
I'm everywhere all at once.
in my driveway.
I'm omnipresent.
No, that's God.
There you go. Wig-eye.
Kim Gardner news conference.
Okay, here we go.
Let's cue this up and listen in.
As a nurse, I am deeply grateful to Janae's father for his quick action, which likely saved her life, and I'm holding them in my thoughts and prayers. While the focus is and should remain on Janae Edmondson, we recognize some are seeking clarity about the defendant's past interactions with the criminal justice system. On 3 separate occasions, as recently as last month, my office requested the defendant's bond be revoked. The court either denied or ignored each of these requests. On December 12th, 2021, my office asked for a bond revocation. In other words, that he be taken into custody. and that request was denied by Judge Hettenbach. On August 10th, 2022, after Mr. Riley was taken into custody by court, released again on his own personal recognizance against the state's wishes. Over the following months, Mr. Riley left his home multiple times in direct violation of his bond. In spite of this, the court modified the bond, allowing him to leave home for work against the state's objections. Just last month, my office requested a hearing to address Mr. Riley's bond, including numerous violations. The court has yet to respond to that request or schedule that hearing. There has been many news reports and political attention in the last 24 hours focused on whether my office could have done even more than what we did. In other words, even more than multiple requests for Mr. Riley to be taken into custody and for the court to hear our suggestions that, at the very least, he have tighter restrictions. While it is true my office could have done more, to say we did nothing is only disingenuous, but it's willfully ignorant of the reality of our court system. My office cannot force a judge to revoke bond for a defendant. It is particularly frustrating that the willful ignorance has empowered the ongoing harassment of the hardworking men and women in my office. To handle cases as well as any prosecutor would have done given the court's posture. In particular, the Assistant Circuit Attorney handling this case is a tireless advocate for the people of the city of St. Louis, and I condemn in the harshest terms the hate that has been directed to her personally, including her family. Before I take a few questions, I want to end at the beginning. Our focus is on the recovery of this young woman, Janae Edmondson, and on making sure that the individual actually responsible for what happened to her is held accountable. And while I understand that politics will always play a role, my office will return to focusing on the important work that the people of the city of St. Louis elected me.
We're going to newspaper. Excuse me. How can you stop the racial harassment and ethnic intimidation in your office? What plans do you have to stop these racist people from harassing you and intimidating you? And it should come from probably the federal government, but we know we have no friends in Jefferson City.
Ask the question, bro. We don't need a speech, and we're going to take a couple of 3 questions, and that's it.
What are you going to do about the racial harassment and ethnic intimidation?
Here's a question.
No, let her answer one question at a time, please.
Hold it. We're in this right now. If you all can't be cordial and civilized, okay? One question, one person at a time, okay? Go ahead, sister.
Well, I think that's a very complex question. It's about the people of the city of St. Louis that elected me to do a job. And what we have to do is do our job fairly and justly. There are numerous attacks on our office. There are numerous individuals that have an agenda to make sure that my office does not succeed. That is not an excuse, but at the same time, we know we do not control every part of the system. But what we can control is we're going to fight very hard for justice in spite of the vitriol, the hate, the racist attacks, the known manipulation of the court procedures to make sure our office fails.
Kim, what's your reaction to the mayor? Asked the judge to revoke bond, but why doesn't the court record show one example of a motion to revoke bond?
It's the case that you must not have looked at it because
there's not a motion to revoke bond. Why not?
First of all, we have what's called oral motions to revoke bond. Those can be made orally or written. And in this jurisdiction, they are made orally, and that is normal practice. And that was done in this case on numerous occasions.
Kim,
How is it that the media organizations who are responsible for researching these cases before they get on the news and start spewing facts got this so wrong since Judge Hittenbach was responsible for the bond which ultimately set the young man free who injured the young lady.
In the end of the day, we all know the facts. I want to focus on Ms. Janae Edmondson and her family because we all can point fingers, but this young lady's life is affected by the criminal justice system right now. And we want to hold this individual accountable. But I'm not going to point blame to anybody. The buck stops with my office, and we did our job. And as I said, could we do more? We could. But did we not do nothing? That is not true.
Kim, the mayor has said that she, in her opinion, you've lost the confidence of the public. You're in this to fight it and prove that you did the right thing. Can you get the public's confidence back at this point?
Did you hear that?
I voted for Kim.
I
think the public answered your question, sir.
Kim, can you answer that?
We answering the question for. We here to support her, and we're going to stand behind her 100%. Let's make sure you don't need one of us to support you.
Kim, can you answer the question? What's your reaction to the mayor saying you've lost the public's confidence?
Ask the mayor why she ain't at the press conference.
Okay, brother, just chill, okay? Just chill.
First of all, I'm going to focus on the people who elected me. The people have a process if they do no longer want me in this office, and that's called an election. And so I cannot speak for the people, and I will not address anything that the mayor said because I think the people should speak for themselves.
And we have spoken.
What is your reaction to the...
We'll take one more question.
What is your reaction to the Attorney General's filing today against your office?
I'm here to focus on Ms. Janae Edmondson. Again, this is about her. The Attorney General, as others, used this unfortunate incident and tragic happening to this young lady as a political stunt of an unelected individual who wants to use politics to, one, stop the voice of the people in the city of St. Louis. This is nothing more than voter suppression, which we've seen on a national level as well as in the state of Missouri.
Okay, you good?
How do you plan to address the loopholes in the justice system?
I plan to work every day to do my part to work with our criminal justice partners as we've done. And we're going to address this issue. Thank you.
Are there other...
Thank you.
Kim Gardner speaking at a press conference where it's really hard to tell there who was in charge of that press conference. If you heard that last question where the gentleman was getting out of control in reaction to it, you know who that reporter was? That was Kevin Killeen of KMOX asking the question, what do you have to say about the mayor who says she's lost confidence in you? And then Kevin Killeen of KMOX gets shouted down by people who were there to support Kim Gardner. And then he was never really stopped. What a disaster. We got to go to a break because we're way behind right now. We can react to this with whatever time we have left. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get the results of the poll today, but you need to go hurry up and get that vote in before we wrap up. Ryan and Brad, your thoughts on this when we come back, including people who are watching with us on the live stream. Back in a minute. Don't go away.
But I'm not the kind of person that it fits. She said,
So Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, along with his nephew, Bob Kershaw, and Bob's wife, Tammy, this is the team, the family-operated business that's there to help you have that worry-free retirement. You're working hard and saving, and when you go to sit down with Thomas or Bob or Tammy and talk about where you are, they're going to ask you these questions about what you've done so far. And they're also going to talk to you about what you can do now to make sure that you preserve those assets so that you can draw from them in the near future. It's nice to think about retirement. You've probably been thinking about it for a while. If you're in your mid-50s or maybe in your 60s, the time is now to have that conversation to make sure that you are protected from any crazy market downturns. Call them at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 and set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. When you reach out to him and you have that conversation, there's no obligation to sign up. You get to make the choice for yourself. And I think you'll be happy that you made that appointment. RetirementKey.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions. and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA-MCO.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
According to Forbes, 96% of Americans, 96%, lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a one-night adult education class, Retirement Planning 101, held at colleges and universities throughout Greater St. Louis. In just 3 hours, you'll benefit from decades of financial planning experience about Social Security, taxes, healthcare and Medicare, investing for income, and so much more. These classes are hosted by financial and tax architects, your retirement professors. If you've saved at least $300,000 for retirement, register now by calling 314-626-8817. You pay zero tuition if you call today. So call 314-626-8817. 314-626-8817.
Want immediate cash for your home or see what your home is really worth in today's market? Find out for free from the local experts, my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out thegelmanteam.com today. That's thegelmanteam.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to $900 in utility rebates and see if you qualify for 0% financing on a new high-efficiency HVAC system. For details and to get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I met a guy outside Bozeman. He liked drinking or smoking. It was fun till he asked we could keep things open.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
He had his head screwed on straight. So I found out he was married and that wasn't on the way. Mama's been praying I'd do some changing after all this heartbreaking. It's finally got me thinking I should try.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We just got done hearing from Kim Gardner. Whew, what a press conference that was. She essentially said, I'll sum up. We don't have much time here. I'll sum up. She essentially said, we didn't not do nothing, is literally what her quote was when it came to the criminal who struck Janae while she was in town for a volleyball tournament. She said that they did make a motion to revoke their bond. A reporter asked, why is there no court record of doing this? And then she kind of hesitated and said, well, it was an oral motion and that is commonly done in that. Maybe that's true. I am in no position to say, oh, come on.
Well,
That's a little suspicious.
I do have a question about that because even oral court proceedings are recorded.
Should be documented.
They have a job called a stenographer that they type those things out as it's going on.
Well, good question by a reporter.
Yeah.
She said that it was an oral request, whatever. And then Kevin Killeen from KMOX asks her, you know, what do you have? What kind of comment do you have to make about the lack of confidence that the mayor of the city has in you? And it probably took 2 minutes of Kevin Killeen getting shouted down obnoxiously by people. And it sounded to me, I have to go back and listen to the tape. The guy said, we're here to support her. And he wasn't on camera, so you couldn't see his lips when he was talking. But he said something to the effect of we're here to support her. And he was talking about Kim Gardner. And he said something to the effect of you better, something about Kevin needing someone to support him. Like showing up, you better hope no one needs to show up to support you or something like that. But it was hostile.
It was hostile amidst a whole lot of people yelling at his question was about what Tashara Jones, the mayor of St. Louis, is doing and saying right now about Kim Gardner.
A very valid question.
A very, very valid question. And by the way, she only took 3 questions. She said, I'll take some questions. She only took 3, and one of them was from somebody who was just like, why are they treating you so badly?
The first question was, what are you going to do about the racist attacks that are being made to your, unfair racist attacks that are being made to your office? Which nobody should be making racist attacks. That's terrible. That's wrong. She shouldn't have to endure that, nor should anybody in her office. But the question sure wasn't about this criminal. The question sure wasn't about the future of people coming into St. Louis or about her job in the future.
No, it wasn't about any of those things, which was the point of the press conference.
So stick around. Do you know what's the time? Mark Reardon has Attorney General Andrew Bailey scheduled for his show. I think it's 3:45.
3 something.
Verify that time. Real quick, let's get to the poll. Lots of people watching right now. If you were watching the YouTube live stream, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube. We have a poll up today.
All right, today's YouTube poll is asking, what kind of neighborhood do you live in? Do you live in the city? Do you live in a suburban area or the rural area? 61% of the people said they live in a suburban neighborhood.
61%
of the people. We have over 220 votes.
Yep.
32% of the people said they live in a rural, I can't say that word.
Yeah, country.
Neither can I.
Country area.
How many in the city?
8%.
I wish we could get to some comments. We ran out of time because there's so much breaking news during the show.
Comments.
But, there's a reason. I bet there are the people who are answering those responses who have lived in the city. So tell us. Okay. With the
Andrew Bailey will be on the Mark Reardon show at 3:45 today, so you won't want to miss
stick around
that.
for that. Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, is going to be able to respond to what Kim Gardner just said there and react. 3:45 on 97.1 FM Talk in the Mark Reardon Show, so do not go anywhere. You're going to get that after this break, so don't go away.
Hi, this is Terry Hall, host of the popular radio show for veterans, Vet Time in America. Sundays at 12 noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Our show is all about veterans. We talk with experts. We help you get benefits, how to get more, and what to do if you're not getting what you deserve. Tune in on Sunday at noon. Join the conversation. We take calls. Vet Time in America. Tune in this Sunday at noon on 97.1 FM Talk.
At Mucinex, we don't believe in cold and flu season. We only believe in comeback season, which starts with 12-hour relief. Just 1 dose of Mucinex DM provides 12 hours of relief for cough and chest congestion day or night. That's 3 times longer than those 4-hour cough liquids. So say goodbye to cold and flu season and hello to comeback season with Mucinex DM. Nothing lasts longer among over-the-counter cold and cough medicine. Get relief that lasts with Mucinex DM. Use as directed.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings,